everyone! Welcome to another spooky stream of The Great Ace Attorney 2. It is appropriate we are here, by the way, because it is now October 31st. It's Halloween! Happy Halloween, everyone. Everyone watching on YouTube, tell me about all the trick-or-treating you've done and the candies and stuff, and the costumes. Tell me everything. Oh wait, it's actually May 15th. Whoops. Never mind. If you're watching this on October 31st, cool. Wow, good timing on your part there. But yep, we're here now. Hey Zerman, how you doing? Welcome to the stream. Good to see you today. Last time we did a lot of crazy things, and now we're here. And I remember, I'm gonna do it right now, see? I'm gonna examine the camera that I got last time. But yeah, how was your day, Zerman? Are you doing good? What a wonderful machine. You really love contraptions like this, don't you? Oh yes, anything mechanical I find absolutely irresistible. Hey, Captain Chips, what's up? How you doing? You're good, Zerman? Awesome. One more day until the weekend for you. Then you'll be free again. Almost irresistible, surely. Well, whenever I see a pocket watch, for example, I can't help myself. I simply have to take it apart. That's worrying. Yes, Father tells the time by the rumblings of his stomach now. He's given up having a watch. Ouch. Captain Chips is first. Woo! For Professor Mikotoba. Oh, I see something. Look, Mr. Naruhodo. What is it? On the bellows just here, there seems to be some very dark red stains. Yes, you're right. It looks like blood, actually. Oh my. I'm sure it's not what you're thinking. Ha 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 ha. Welp! There appears to be blood on the camera. Do anything cool today, Zerman? Anything awesome going on? Oh, look! The cover came open. Yes, now there should be a glass plate inside. You have to change the plate with each new photograph you want to take, you see. Is something wrong? There's no plate. It's been removed. Ah, what a pity. But I suppose if you think about it, this wouldn't be the actual camera that was used at the time, just like the waxwork isn't the actual person. So we'd never have found the photographic print of the executive convict coming back to life anyway. Oh, yes, you're quite right, of course. Poor Susato-san, she looks devastated. Shame. I guess that's it, right? Okay. Remember what you said last time, Captain Chips? I'm gonna do that right now. This part of the exhibit? Oh, we gotta do this. We gotta zoom in a bit. And then we can examine the cheval. Oh, I did examine the cheval. Okay. I can't see his face very well, can you? Perhaps if I just... Oh, do you think you should be manhandling the exhibits, Mr. Naruhodo? I'll put it back exactly as it was, don't worry. It's a messed up face. Ah! What on earth? How can... I don't believe it. A black monocle. Mr. Naruhodo, is it possible that this man is... Yes. It's Enoch Drebber. The color of his hair is different, but it's unmistakably him. Indeed it is. Who said that? Oh, it's you. Mr. Sholmes. It's you in your weird costume again. The man is the subject of your present hunt, I believe. Yes, that's right. Just who is this man? Why is he here in this exhibit? And why does the convict behind him have no head? The head was missing when the model was returned by the thief who stole it. What a surprise. So the case isn't yet solved, is it? Did I not say so myself? Largely solved were my words, I believe. But I must locate the missing head tout de suite, as Madame would say, or I'll be in grave trouble. A very hungry iris still awaits my return to Baker Street, preferably with rations. Arg. Do you know, though? Something about this room is strange. Strange? What do you mean? Well, the displays in the House of Horrors are supposed to depict real events, are they not? Indeed they are, Miss Susato. Do go on. And as terrifying as they are, the scenes in the other exhibits are believable. But this one... this surely couldn't even really have happened, could it? I think it's time I educated you a little about the nature of the incidents involving the professor 10 years ago. Well, okay. I believe I told you a little about the professor yesterday, did I not? He took the lives of 5 victims, everyone being either a member of the aristocracy or royalty. All were attacked by an enormous hunting hound and had their throats ripped from their bodies. Oh gosh, an enormous hound? How awful. After taking the life of his 5th victim, the killer was apprehended. It was a case of unprecedented magnitude in Britain, you understand. Accordingly, the professor was tried in a closed court. No members of the public were permitted. A closed court? So you mean the professor's identity? As you've surmised, my dear fellow, his identity was never made public. Naturally, he was found guilty and was summarily sentenced to death by hanging. He was buried in a grave at Low Gate Cemetery, which adjoins the rear of the prison where he had been held. However, that was not the end of the affair. Oh. The very night that he was buried, the convicted man came back to life. Came back to life? We missed something important when you get a moment and check the neck of the professor? Okay. Assuming I get another chance. He clawed his way out of the ground and emerged into the moonlit graveyard. The exhibit there depicts that very scene, as described by the sole witness to this chilling events. There was a witness? But of course, my dear fellow, it was none other than... the young man in the white overcoat. An Enoch Drebber. You saw it happen? Alright, go back. Examine him. You said examine the neck, right? There's no thing that says examine the neck. So this is Enoch Drebber. What an extraordinary coincidence, coming across a model of the very man we're looking for. Only this waxwork was a living model like Mr. Sholmes, then we'd have found our man. And I would certainly have fainted again. Nope. It's a plot important, you should. So, is the plot this guy is the professor, actually? So this is a waxwork model of Enoch Drebber. 10 years ago, the convicted professor, having been gibbeted and buried, emerged from his grave in the dead of night. The sole witness to that unimaginable scene was this young man. From appearances, I would say he was about 20 years old. It's so horrifying. There's a piece of evidence on him. It's in the folds of his clothes. Scared out of his wits, the young Drebber ran to a nearby police station to report the incident. And the sheer terror of what he'd seen is said to have turned his hair white overnight. Yes, as shown in the photograph we have of him. His hair is completely white. For the following few days, the story of what he had seen was on every front page in the capital. The public was frantic for every last detail about the killer who had come back to life. As you've seen, an exhibit was even created here at Madame Tuspel's. I can quite understand why the man's hair turned white, certainly. What I don't understand is what Mr. Drebber was doing in the first place, in a lonely graveyard in the middle of the night. Yes, what? What was he up to? Professor's the one without the head? Yeah. I got this, the piece of broken glass. Following the execution? The executor? I know how to read that, don't worry. The professor's acts of terror threw London's upper classes into complete panic 10 years ago. It was the great scandal, one might say, at the very highest level of society. And since the killer's identity was never made public, rumors abounded. After all, no killer had ever before systematically employed a dog as a weapon of murder. I Gucci? I Gucci! Yes, I can imagine the impact the case must have had. To think a different assassin would be hiring a dog, or have a dog with him many, many years later. But in time, of course, the rumors abated. So too did talk of the shocking witness account of the convict who came back to life. It was forgotten. Dismissed as dubious ghost story, as a preposterous parlor tale. But why did people stop believing it? Why? Simply because there was no resurrection to speak of, as was established in fact. What? What do you mean by no resurrection? The police investigated the grave in Lowgate Cemetery and published their findings. The convict's body was found to be buried exactly where it had been following the execution. No! But that would mean Mr. Drebber must have lied to the police and the newspapers. That would appear to be the only logical explanation, yes. The young man subsequently vanished from society and nothing has been heard of him since. It's rather striking, then, that he should resurface now, don't you think? Of course, the convicted murderer could really have come back to life. That's not possible. But the Drebber's hair is unusually white, and if that really did happen overnight as a result of shock, it's hard to believe the incident was an out-and-out lie. Ah! Oh, hi. What the bleeding Nora, Odo? What have you gone and done? Gina, what are you doing here? I asked Iris, and she said this is where you'd be. So? Gina, not so loud in the museum. Madame Tussbells will have you take a position as a waxwork if you're not careful. I think there might be a more pressing concern. I still had some flesh powder left from 6 months ago, so? Alright, Gina, we understand, but please, put down the gun. Sorry, I got scared. You should try being the one on the other end of the barrel. So, what brings you here, Gina? What brings me here? What do you think? We found it. We found that dodgy Cope's workshop. What? You found Drebber's workshop? Yep. Toby's nose took me straight there. The boss and the others are headed over there now in a drag, so come on. Here's the address. I got the boss to write it out. Oh, thank you, Gina. We'll make our way there at once. Alright then, see you there. Thanks, Gina. You go. Don't mind me. I'll just stay here, being still. What? I know my place, in the exhibit over there. Oh dear, someone is feeling sorry for himself. Let's go, Mr. Sholmes, you're coming. Your words hearten me, I must say, but if I were to shirk my duties here, Madam would have me pay monetary recompense, and Iris's dinner plate would be empty once more. Forget that, I'll pay for everything. Then there's not a moment to lose, my dear fellow. I shall hail a carriage at once. I'll offer to share the cost for Mr. Sholmes, then. Or no offer. I shall gladly pay half, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, Mr. Sato. Right, let's go. Here we go, guys. Oh my gosh. This is certainly a place. That looks like... Oh, it's another super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine. Indeed, it would appear so, though only a prototype naturally. Ah, so you got here then. Gina, well done for finding this place. And in such little time. You've really worked miracles. It's Toby here who's the miracle worker. Woof. I thought your lot would show up before long. Hello, Inspector. That's one knitted brow. It looks like he's eating a lemon, not a bag of fish and chips. So, Inspector, is there any signs of the engineer? Sadly not. We didn't find a soul, in here. Oh, what a shame. Well, thank you for letting us know about this place and giving us the chance to investigate. According to what Gina tells me, we only found it thanks to a clue that you lot turned up. I wouldn't want to say go to Paris with a debt of gratitude unpaid now, would I? Thank you. Anyway, if you were hoping to snoop around in here, I'd get cracking. Lord Van Zeek's and the forensics investigation team are on their way here as we speak. Then again, I imagine you got the picture by now. They don't take too kindly to lawyer types. Right. So then, my dear fellow, let us turn this place upside down whilst we have the chance. And you, Sholmes. Pardon? They take even less kindly to great detectives than they do to lawyers. Very droll, Gregson, very droll. But you may consider me nothing more than an inconspicuous waxwork model. Right then, let's see what we can find in here. Alright. I see a trophy. Ah, this appears to be more interesting. Yes, most interesting indeed, wouldn't you say? It's an impressive looking back massager, that's for sure. I've no doubt that if you hit your shoulders a few times with that, your aches and pains would soon go away. It's a Royal Society trophy for excellence in science. A young scientist could wish for no higher honor. Ah! Would you like a massage? No, I'm fine, thank you. I had no idea it was such a grand thing. I think it's becoming increasingly clear that there's much more to this Mr. Enoch Drebber than conjuring tricks. I couldn't agree more, my dear madam. And now about you, Mr. Naruhodo. Wouldn't you like to take it with you? For your tired shoulders, of course. He's not going to let that go, is he? It's curious, though, isn't it? You would expect such an important trophy to be proudly on display somewhere, not haphazardly cast aside. English gentlemen can be quite a mystery at times. We got a new evidence. You know what that means. Whoops. Can't find anything out of place. There's a little metal plaque here. Look. Fostering burgeoning talent for the future of scientific discovery. It seems rather ironic, doesn't it? But clearly Mr. Drebber really was a very talented scientist. Is the murder weapon in here? Is the trophy the murder weapon? What on earth is this? An aeroplane, Mr. Naruhodo. One day, scientists believe it will allow humans to fly freely in the skies. Is that how the trick will be described, is it? Sorry? Well, it's actually suspended by a thin but very strong cable, isn't it? Oh, well, this model is, yes, but a real airplane would actually fly high in the sky. Well, suspended from somewhere even higher in the sky, of course, because large metal objects obviously can't really stay in mid-air unsupported. So, do you think the solution is ever taller towers? Yeah, planes are never gonna happen, guys. It's an insane thing. I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo. That machine is covered by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. There would be serious repercussions if you were to examine it from the Crown and the government. Well, those two don't seem to be holding back. It's quite hollow inside. No working parts or devices of deception to be seen, my dear fellow. No loose change dropped on the floor or nothing, not even a bone of Toby here, my dear fella. British people are very much ruled by their own ideals, aren't they? I think that's just these two, Miss Susato. Yeah, probably. Oh. This is... It's European-style quiver of arrows, with steel bolts inside. Oh, do you suppose? Crossbow bolts, these, and just the right size for the bow you lot turned up at the exhibition grounds. In other words... Yep, that's more evidence to support your theory. It all goes to show that Drebber was the one pulling the strings behind the scenes of the whole scam. Well. There's a back room there. This door doesn't want to open. Yeah, looks like it's got pretty hefty lock on it. There's a specialist locksmith on his way over from the yard, so hands off till he gets here. With permission, Inspector, I could have the lock open in less than a minute. Well, you don't have permission, and no one's given it to you. Gregson looks as though he really enjoyed that. Well, there's no sound of anybody on the other side. No, Drebber must have fled at the first sign of danger. Thud. Uh-oh. Oh, is something wrong, Mr. Sato? Well, I thought I heard a noise from the far side of that door. Well, Gina, did you hear it too? Yeah, I heard it all. And all? What do you reckon, Toby? Right, mind the grease. Thud, thud, thud. Whoever's in there, open up. This is Scotland Yard. Clomp, 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 clomp. Squeak, clunk. Oh my, someone is there. Arrgh, this rotten bleeding lock. My dear Gregson, as I said only minutes ago, if only it were countenanced, I could unlock that door in less than a minute. Fine, I'll take the rap for it. Just get us through that blasted door. Click. There, you may enter at will. You've confused minutes with seconds, I think. Time is of the essence, I feel. What are we waiting for? Nothing for it, I suppose. This is an emergency. There's a strong possibility that beyond this door is the engineer near you all seek. Be prepared for action, my dear fellow. Yes. Ooh. Here we go. Oh dear. What? What happened in here? Why is everything upside down? Rats, there ain't no one here after all. But there must be. It was only moments ago that we heard those noises. Maybe that was the sound of Drebber running away. But there's only one door into this room. And no windows that could afford an escape route. Those skylights are too high. What's that up there? Are they footprints on the ceiling? Blow me, what have we here then? Looks like someone was trying to burn something in a hurry. Oh, that looks like a set of blueprints. To what? To the Professor Hairbrain's barmy machine, isn't it? Blimey, if we had these, there'd have been no need to muck about trying to investigate all that scrap metal. There is something of great interest here, too. This rope was lying on the floor at the foot of that pillar. A rope? What's the significance about that? Never mind. You see, but you do not observe, Mr. Naruhodo. We must investigate this entire room thoroughly, and before the forensics investigation team arrive too. Oh boy, did I get the rope? No, I didn't. I want to see what this is. Mr. Sholmes, have you found something? Ah, Mr. Naruhodo, yes, in point of fact, something rather fascinating. What do you make of this? Let's see. I've never seen anything like it before. Looks like a bundle of thick cigars wrapped up in large watch and... Ah! Mr. Sato, what's the matter? That's a... Surely that's a time bomb, isn't it? What? Did you say? A time bomb? Sorry, but what is a time bomb exactly? You truly are one of a kind, Mr. Naruhodo. I won't take that as a compliment. Ah, you don't know nothing, do ya, Odo? You haven't got a clue what it is either, have you, Gina? I invite you to consult a dictionary later, Mr. Naruhodo. But this particular specimen is no time bomb, though I confess it has a very similar appearance. Oh, well, thank goodness. But then, what is it? I see. So that's it. Goodness, Mr. Sholmes, have you seen to the heart of the matter? There are times when I consider my lot most unfair, for I'm fated to never to know how it feels to flounder as you do when a puzzle presents itself. But I have learned to accept the hardships that come with being a great detective, Mr. Sato. Here we go. I feel a great deduction coming. Once again, I can draw two conclusions from the scene we see before us. The first is that the inverted nature of the furniture in this room is the work of Drebber himself. Oh, but how could you? And the second conclusion is that the small device on the floor there is, without question, completely genuine. Please, Mr. Sholmes, you must explain everything. Give me a second, guys. Okay. It would be a pleasure. After all, it is a great detective's civic duty to teach Scotland Yard the finer points of the trade. Well, Inspector Gregson seems delighted with the idea anyway. Ha 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 ha. Oh, you deflected the inspector's glare with such fortitude there, Mr. Sholmes. Well done. You're too kind, my dear madam. I hereby dedicate this great deduction to you. Kindly stand just there, Mr. Sato. Oh, yes, I'd be delighted. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Here we go again. Flipped furniture. I was he in his detective's outfit there, but he's in this outfit here. I'm so confused. It's plain to see that this room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling? Are you suggesting that... Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. Wow, that was almost what Merlin did that one time, and Dumbledore during that one scene. For the gravity in the room was reversed, then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! The inverted furniture clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. I quite understand your skepticism, Mr. Sato. I too... If only, Mr. Holmes. If only. I quite understand your skepticism, Mr. Sato. I too was incredulous at first. However, my conviction in my analysis was cemented with when I observed this. An anti-gravity device, almost identical to the one that featured in a dream of mine, only the other day in fact. But then why does it have a clock on it? A most relevant question indeed. This is a timing device that controls when the gravity direction will switch. Gasp! Hey stars! How was your day today? You're just in time, stars. We're watching this anti-gravitational device slowly float upwards. Wow. You loved the idea. I love the idea of someone stuck the furniture to the ceiling in a way that would make it slowly fall back down. That is great. I would see more of that in movies and stuff. But I'm doing good, thanks. I'm surviving. This was clearly a requirement for the engineer to be able to restore normal gravity automatically. And the commotion we heard earlier from the other side of the door was the moment that restoration occurred. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity device. So you see, we need look no further to explain the state in which we now find this room. The direction in which gravity acts in here was reversed by Mr. Drebber before being restored to normality in an automatic fashion sometime later by the timer device. I've witnessed precisely this scene in a dream I once had when I fell out of bed. Okay. Whatever you say. Do anything cool today, stars? Today was very chill. I started Star Wars Episode 3 with my mom. Was her outfit normal too? Now it's this. I'm so confused. Now let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. Of course, Drebber's action was singular, to escape. However, there is but one way into this room, excepting the skylight, that is... Ah! Oh my gosh. By inverting the gravity in here, Drebber was able to fall conveniently to the ceiling and make his escape via the otherwise inaccessible skylight, leaving those footprints behind on the way. But the ceiling in here is very high, Mr. Sholmes. If the gravity reversal was sudden, wouldn't Mr. Drebber had fallen up to the ceiling rather violently? Falling up is both scientifically and philosophically a rather interesting concept, I feel. But the man was cornered with nowhere to run, so escaping through the skylight was his only option. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? By anchoring one end to the wall, the man was able to lower himself safely to the ceiling, which explains how Drebber was able to escape this room before our arrival. He reversed the pull of gravity and fled via the skylight. And personally, I should very much like to reverse the pull of gravity again now, just for fun. Okay. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this topsy-turvy puzzle. She's completely spellbound. Mr. Sholmes, there's just one thing that troubles me. I would expect nothing less. You're destined to be troubled by just one thing for the rest of your life. The thing is such a thing actually possible? An anti-gravity device, I mean? I would say that with man's current scientific knowledge at the turn of the 20th century, it's no more possible than instantaneous kinesis. Yeah! I don't think we figured that out in real life, guys, right? Sholmes has such sass. Aw, the sass. But your whole deduction hinges on it. Ah, but my dear fellow, when you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. However improbable it may seem. Didn't Godot say that? I think I said that before. Didn't Godot say that? He might have said that, too. Ah, it's a marvelous line, wouldn't you agree? One of my more endearing pearls of wisdom. I had Iris come up with the exact phrasing. My original was clumsy. Yes, I have a feeling I've read it something like that Mr. Santo lent me once. We weren't even sure what exactly caused gravity until 2012 or so. Well, so yeah. Little bit ahead of your time, Sholmes, or your deduction is.
Objection!
Actually, there is one other thing, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, the spell's broken at last. The rope you found was on the floor, wasn't it? Indeed it was, and lonely coils near the wall. But if Mr. Drebber had used it to escape in the way you described, wouldn't it still be tied to the wall? Godot said it, but he was quoting Holmes, so it works. Gotcha. Mystery inevitably unravel in the end, as I think you'll find. Do ropes. As an evidence of such, if you need only look at the mystery we face in this room, now skillfully unraveled. The argument is as circular as the coils of a rope. I think perhaps we might need to give Mr. Sholmes the usual little helping hand. I'm sure with some minor corrections, the great detective's great deduction will lead us to the truth. Yes, you're right. We must do it quickly before Enoch Drebber gets too far away. If you're ready, then let us resume. Herlock Sholmes' logic and reasoning spectacular. Here we go. It's funny to see that the room is in complete disarray. The bed, the table and chairs, the lamp, everything is upside down. Almost as if every item in the room had until recently been happily positioned on the ceiling, before falling straight down onto the floor. Every item in the room was on the ceiling. Are you suggesting that? Indeed, the key here is gravity. It would appear that technology has at last succeeded in freeing us from the great pull of the Earth. For the gravity in this room was reversed, then suddenly restored to normality. Goodness! Where do you want me to start here regarding the hint? Let me do it first, and then I'll, if I need a hint or whatever, then I'll ask. To think gravity could have been reversed in this very room, I find the whole idea utterly enthralling. Only Mr. Sholmes could conceive of such an explanation, but the man himself admitted it was a scientific impossibility, so... Yes, you're quite right. Must completely discount the idea at once. Ooh, that's unusually merciless of you, Miss Susato. When you have eliminated the impossible, whatever remains must be the truth. The great detective himself said so, didn't he? While refusing to part with his dreams of anti-gravity devices. Yes, I suppose so. Well, let's see if examining the topsy-turvy scene a little more closely, reveals some proof that shows exactly what the gravity in this room was or wasn't doing. Alright. There's a lot of crap in this room. Well, I wasn't expecting to find a pretty bunch of flowers here, that's for sure. Ah, look at that! I know, the slender little vase looks like it's about to topple at any moment, but the flowers are thriving. Somehow it makes you think of the fragility of life, wouldn't you say? To be honest, Mr. Naruhodo, something else about it made a rather deeper impression on me. Everything's upside down, except the vase, right?
Take that!
The upright vase clearly reveals the truth about the part gravity played in this whole business. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, you've surpassed yourself by completely turning my argument on its head. Trying to impress your assistant here, perhaps? No one is trying to steal your spotlight here, Mr. Sholmes, trust me. As you rightly say, though it appears at first glance that all the furniture in the room is upside down. There you are. Yep. The unassuming, slender vase is standing keenly to attention. And unlike the large safe, there is nothing affixing it to the floor. And it's the exception that breaks the rule. In short, much as it pains me, the gravity in this room was never inverted at all. My deepest sympathies for your loss. Oh, poor Mr. Sholmes. But the show must go on, so let us continue with our deductions. Now that we know this contrivance is not in fact an anti-gravity device, there remains one other possibility. You don't say. Someone deliberately turned over every piece of furniture in here. Which might sound obvious, but leaves one mystery very much unsolved. Namely, why would anyone choose to do that? Quite, and naturally, there is an explanation. Yes, the reason why everything in here has been turned upside down is because of the anti-gravity thing. He's absolutely determined that this device must have something to do with it, isn't he? I'm afraid the lure of an exciting scientific explanation is too strong. Well, there's no doubt that somebody did this. Somebody turned all the furniture over. So whoever it was must have had a reason. I'm afraid nothing comes to mind at all, though. Well, let's look around and see if the answer presents itself. Cheap viewers on Streambo! Ah! Oh my gosh! You guys can't see it, but I can see it. Oh boy. There's a lot of things. There's also this. Look, there's something written on the underside of this armchair. Oh yes, safe. 432582. Safe? As in safe and secure? As in secure lockable box, I think. Admittedly, more likely. Well, there is a large safe bolted to the floor on the other side of the room, so yes. So you mean this number would let us open it? I wonder why it's written here, though.
Take that!
Yes, the reason why everything here has been turned upside down is because of the safe combination. Precisely. I believe, Mr. Naruhodo, that you have had a very similar experience once, did you not? Yes, last year, when I bought a lottery ticket and noted the ticket number down on the inside cover of a book just in case. That's it, for people are forgetful souls at heart and always make a written note of important information. Just keeping the ticket itself safe would be more sensible, I think. And what, pray, happened next, Mr. Naruhodo? When the day of the draw came around, I'd forgotten which book I'd write in the number in and had to turn my room upside down to find it. That's it, for people that are forgetful souls at heart and always forget where they've noted things down. Not if you always note things in the same place. I actually won the second prize, you know. But I couldn't remember which magazine I'd shipped the ticket into. I had to turn that. Thank you, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe I proved my point now. Which is that a very similar scenario had clearly unfolded in this room. Finding himself requiring access to the safe, the occupant of this room needed the combination code. He remembered that he'd written it on the underside of a piece of furniture, but forgot which one, leading to the state in which we now find the room. Yes, Mr. Drebber's overturned all the furniture in here, in a desperate hurry, to locate the combination code that would unlock the safe. Yay! Part 2. Now, let us consider the next conundrum. What was our engineer friend's aim? Indubitably, the greatest clue we have to explain his actions is above our heads. Yes, how is it possible that there are footprints all the way up there on the ceiling? A question whose answer will lead us neatly to the truth, my dear madam. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby skylight. No. Well, if the change in the direction of gravity can't explain it, then how did those footprints get there? Yes, I feel as though that particular mystery has just become even harder to solve. I can't think of any other way to explain it at all. Oh, life was so much simpler in those halcyon days when gravity could be reversed. It was minutes ago, and those halcyon days never existed in the first place. But I suppose we must simply put our faith in Mr. Sholmes and observe the area in more detail. After Ultima saves the game again. Putting our faith in Mr. Sholmes is what gets us into these situations in the first place. Alright. Well, what do we have here? We have a shoe here, too. This is a gas balloon, isn't it? It's tiny, but it does seem to be a real balloon. Yes, I think you're right. I think it's helium that's keeping it up. A green gas balloon. Why does that seem to ring a bell with me? You can see there are footprints on the balloon too. Look! Oh yes, surely that's a clue, isn't it? But what it tells us, I'm not sure. Maybe shoe on the balloon? It's hard to believe, but there's a shoe up there, look. Oh yes, and there's more footprints on this little balloon too. Perhaps the shoe was thrown up there and became lodged, don't you think? If so, then judging from the number of footprints, it must have been thrown up several times. How would anyone be throwing shoes up at the ceiling, though? Oh dear, that's beyond me, I'm afraid. I guess it's shoe. Shoes. Shoes. Oh my god, shoes. The reason there are footprints on the ceiling is because of the nearby shoe. And on closer inspection, there are clearly footprints all over the balloon as well. In other words, the aim was never the skylight at all, but the balloon. But for what purpose? A green balloon. That seems somewhat familiar, Data. Ah! It was a piece of the green balloon's envelope that Mr. Naruhodo and Iris found at the scene. And inside the green balloon that Master Guts claims he saw above the stage when the incident occurred was the second birdcage, the crux of the whole instantaneous kinesis deception. You mean to say, if we assume the balloon in here is a model of the one used on the day, there is a strong possibility that something may be concealed inside it. Something our absconder was desperate to retrieve before making a hasty getaway. But the balloon's out of reach, hence why he resorted to a projectile, namely, the shoe. Ah! Most probable, Drebber intended to tear a hole in the envelope by selling it with the shoe. However, his efforts were thwarted when the shoe itself became a prisoner of those lofty heights. Oh dear, we desperately need to examine that balloon. If only there was some way we could see inside. You may recall that I found this in the room earlier, which I believe offers a solution. Oh, the rope! To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this rope? Mr. Sholmes has managed to bring the deduction back to the rope. Alright, have to admit, that was clever. So we just throw the rope up on the balloon and then pull it down to us on the ground? Which is much easier said than done, I feel. And could take us a very long time as well. True, perhaps we need a more surefire method. In fact, we already have one, of course, don't we? Okay, it's either this or this.
Take that!
Okay, good. To reach the intended destination, what better tool than this crossbow? That was found at the scene, in fact, and in all likelihood belongs to Mr. Drebber. If the man had only brought it away with him that day, he could have avoided losing a shoe at such a critical time as this. So, shall we? Your curiosity is deeply stirred, no doubt, my dear fellow. What is it that Enoch Drebber has hidden inside that balloon? Bam. Helmet. Ah! What the? A waxwork? Was it interrupted? The deduction thing? It was interrupted. Indeed it is, though a waxwork head inside a metal mask. A mask that is shut tight and fastened with a strong and quite impenetrable neck. So we can't see the face inside, that means. Just a moment. This is the head of a waxwork model. Does that mean... Oh, goodness! I see you've joined at the dots, Miss Susato. Excellent. Ah, of course. The headless waxwork model. The case of the abducted Madame Tuspel's model that you'd largely solved. It was only the head of the killer that was still missing. Indeed it was, but I believe Madame Tuspel's will have to settle her sizable account with me. This, as you have now surmised, is the head of the infamous professor. Yes, but why is it here? This conclusively confirms my suspicions. The man responsible for stealing the professor from Madame Tuspel's and returning it, sans titre, earlier today, was none other than Enoch Drebber. This is incredible. Professor Harebrain's case and the waxwork abduction they're inextricably linked by Enoch Drebber's workshop. Well, it appears our logical pleasure cruise has come to an end, my dear fellows. All that remains is, yes, to speak with the architect of this adventure. The architect? You mean Mr. Drebber? As it seems quite impossible that he escaped via one of the skylights, obviously the man must be here in this room. What? And his location should be abundantly clear. If you simply reflect on the journey we've made together during this deduction, Drebber is right here, somewhere in this room? So, Mr. Naruhodo, will you do the honors? Yes, of course. Mr. Drebber's hiding place must be the... Well, I can't save it. I think, guys... I think he's in here. Look at all the mess in front of the safe. Yes, planned and accounting ledgers. Almost as if somebody was in a hurry to empty the contents of the safe, in fact.
Take that!
I had a feeling. I had a feelings. I like Ryunosuke's little pet on his shoulder, by the way. Before we gained access to this back room, we heard noises from in there. Yes, my deduction was quite nice. Which tells us that the engineer was still in the building at that point in time. Chunosuke? Chunosuke! Hey, Astro Dude. How you doing? It's good to see ya. He was in fact searching for the combination to his safe. And pressed for time, he made no attempt to right the furniture that he overturned in the process, from which we can deduce that his search for the combination happened very recently indeed. In summary, Mr. Drebber Spin is at this very moment inside the safe. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of the topsy-turvy puzzle. Yay! Solved. Well, let's drag him out, guys. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I think we're... What else? Let's see. The combination was 1432582. I knew that. Alright then, here goes. It's gonna be a tight fit. There he is. Hey, buddy. You found me. Oh boy. Do we have another weirdo, guys? Yep. We have another weirdo. Right then, sir. Mr. Drebber, I presume? Correct. You better start talking. You tricked Professor Hairbrain with that bogus machine you built. And you shall have to explain the theft of the waxwork from Madame Tuspel's as well. Whilst I would be delightful to answer your many questions. Personally, I would advise that you deactivate my little parcel first. Deactivate? Your parcel? I prefer, of course, to the time bomb. I left it in a most prominent position. Ah! Ha ha ha. I see. Stunned silence. You're all gearing up to die with me, then? No! Nice dancing. Hey, Hedgewolf. What's up? Welcome to... We found a person. And, we're about to be exploded. Mr. Sholmes, with only 7 seconds to spare. That was too close for comfort. I've got 1 foot in the grave already. But yeah, how was your day, Hedgewolf? It's good to see you here. Are you trying to help us get the killer or get us killed? Mr. Sholmes' deductions can be completely life-altering, can't they? Well, my dear fellows, that was a close shave. The resemblance to an anti-gravity device is really quite startling, I must say. I am good too, and I'm glad you're doing good, Hedgewolf. Anti-gravity devices don't exist. Whoa, I wanted to push it, Mr. Sholmes. So, do you have a robot hand? Or are you just a robot completely? What on earth happened in here? You found me, haven't you? No need to screw me down any further. Everything in here is precisely what it seems. Yeah, well, we'll be giving it a thorough going over, don't you worry, Drebber. What fails to click with me is how you were able to locate my workshop. That I was not expecting. While I heard whistling from the other room, I knew it was time to bolt. Whistling? Ah, that would have been me. Oh! For some reason, I woke in fine fettle today. No words, just tightly squeezed chips. Clearly, I must have a screw loose though, as I couldn't remember the combination for the safe. And another one loose, as I couldn't remember on which piece of furniture I'd written it down. You also found a rope over by the wall. Yes, I had hoped to exit through the skylight, but sadly this rope was too short. So, I then set about searching for the combination code to open the safe. And burning the incriminating blueprints, don't forget. Regrettably, though, you failed to retrieve the head from the balloon among the rafters. And after that, you hid yourself inside the safe, having first set this parcel ticking. Well, I had no intention of being nailed by the police. The time bomb. Would he be in trouble for placing a time bomb and setting it, like, to go off? Got a death wish, have ya? Hiding in right beside a ticking time bomb. Please, why do you suppose I chose to hide inside the safe? Yeah, that could have protected him. I mean, Indiana Jones survived being a nuclear blast in a fridge, so of course he would be fine. It's no ordinary safe. It's a specially designed dynamite explosion wouldn't leave a scratch on it. Domestic terrorism charge might have been a little lighter back then, I guess. Yeah, maybe a little lighter. I don't even know if it was even called that back in the day, or if it existed for all we know. Does now. So in fact, the safe was the only safe place. Precisely. But once you'd climbed inside, you wouldn't have been able to get out again. I invite you to look more closely. The safe is fitted with a handle on the inside to allow the door to be unlocked from within. Ah, so it is. I had always intended to blow this place to smithereens in any case. I just wasn't expecting uninvited guests to come along and screw up my plans. Do you mean to say you were planning to blow us all up? No, that was unforeseen. What do you mean? Most people run, you see, when they see a ticking time bomb at their feet. Ah, I calculated the time required to retreat to a safe distance and set the device accordingly. But you seemingly endless discourse in here threw a spanner in the works. Something wrong, Gregson? Do I have something on my face? Besides the usual eyes, ears, nose, and mouth? Yeah, you have a fox mask on your head. Wanna explain that? He planned to run because history says, off with their heads sometimes. Yeah, probably. If this is the Wonderland this place is that I think it is. Hehehe. I think we now have a fairly good idea of what's been going on here now. But what about the two incidents that you've evidently been involved in recently? Professor Harebrain's instantaneous kinesis experiment at the Great Exhibition, and the waxwork model you stole, which this head belongs to. That's no ordinary head, you know. That's the head of the professor, clad in a mask with the lock so strong I'm unable to open it safely to reveal the killer's identity. It would explain the court cases if this was Wonderland. Oh yeah, for sure. At least the judge isn't the Queen of Hearts, right? I've been considering carrying it around as protection. After all, that's enough. Oh. What's going on here, Gregson? I'm sure you're aware that I have sole jurisdiction to investigate here. Yes, well, Dr. Scythe again, the forensic investigation team are here. And you know full well this engineer is a key witness. Why are you allowing this lawyer to access him? If Lord Strongheart knew of this, you'd be finished. You lot, leave at once. My dear madam, there's no need for such a threatening tone, I assure you. True, yeah. After all, there is no way to greet an old acquaintance, is it, Dr. Scythe? Hello, Sholmes. Mr. Sholmes knows Dr. Scythe? If the protecting the machine next door that's causing such a sour expression on your face, you are quite misguided. It's really nothing more than a shell. You get out. But of course, we'll show ourselves at the door. I see you haven't softened at all. Mr. Naruhodo, yes? It would appear that our delightful, entertaining investigations have run their course for today. But Mr. Sholmes, let us leave this place in the doctor's capable hands. I said get out, now, all of you. Your presence here is not required either, Gregson. Understood. But I'll just say one thing before I head off. If it wasn't for this lawyer and his companions, I'd never have found this place, and the whole workshop would have been blown to bits. There was a time bomb set in here that this lot disarmed. Inspector. K-k-k. Something giving you a chuckle, has it, Drebber? Ah, so sorry. Didn't mean to offend. You're quite right, of course. You did disarm the time bomb, didn't you? Yes, you did disarm that one. Eh? What are you? That one? Yeah, you mean... K-k-k. Drebber turned into a One Piece character now. We should go, guys. Where is that? That's there. Oh no, those two. Oh no. It was an hour later that we heard the news of the enormous explosion that ripped through the experimentation stage on the Great Exhibition. Professor Harebrain's invention and all its secrets were blown away forever. Oh boy. Oh dear. Oh boy. That's a no good, is it? But I didn't know, though. I didn't know there was a thing there. Can't blame me for that. October 24th. It's almost Halloween. It's almost. Could be worse, right? Not like you could have done something if you weren't kicked out. I know. I could have been kicked out sooner than run to the stage and turn it off. There we go. Good morning to you, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, good morning, Professor. Ready for today's proceedings? I hope so. I should be. Even I, with nothing left to... Good morning, my dear fellows. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you're here. Why, naturally, a true gentleman does stand shoulder to shoulder with his friends in battle at all times. Thank you, I really appreciate it. I'll see you later then. Now, Professor, we really need you to remain calm in the courtroom today. Yes, do try your hardest not to enter the witness stand uninvited again. Yes, I will. I realize it was a mistake, but My dear fellows, I must interject. Oh, you're still here, Mr. Sholmes? What's the matter? Surely you're overlooked some praise, have you not, to be cast in my direction, Sorry, I don't follow. Must I spell it out? I, the great Herlock Sholmes, the greatest detective of worldwide acclamation. Across some urgently ungodly hour to be here now. First thing in the morning, a miracle, you must agree. Well, if I must agree, then... As you know, my sleep is quite impregnable. Iris has to employ her full gamut of tactics. She pulled the covers off, shook me, poked both cheeks, punched me, and kicked me from the bed. Then she poured a boiling cup of her latest experimental blend on my face, and at last I was bestirred. Oh my, Iris has become busy. Iris doesn't have it in her to go that far. She's too nice. I sense the spirit of a fellow scientist, one who relishes the infinite possibilities of blending tea. I'm the one worthy of praise here, not Iris. This is my victory. Sorry to cut in.
Oh, sorry to cut in.
Oh, Inspector Gregson. Good morning. Gregson, my dear fellow, why the grim expression at this delightful early hour?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe because I've been confronted with a grimmer expression, eh?
Dear me, are you going to take that insult lying down, Professor? Well, what? I don't know. Poor Professor.
Anyway, here's the paperwork you asked for.
What paperwork? Ah, I took the liberty of requesting it yesterday. I have a feeling it may prove useful.
You wouldn't believe the hoops I had to jump through to get this brought out of the archives. It's the professor's autopsy report.
That mass murderers? Who killed 5 members of the aristocracy?
He was found guilty in a closed trial 10 years ago now. It was all done under wraps, and he was quickly executed soon after the trial. It's all in here.
Well, let's give it a read. I don't know what to say. Thank you, Inspector. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th of June. Student and the professor, condemned prisoner, Courtney Stevens. Have I examined this yet? Alright, there's nothing about this thing to examine. Yes, much obliged, Gregson.
Us lowly lot in the yard are just doing what we can. The shadow of the great Detective Sholmes, of course. In the shadow.
Do you think Sholmes regularly practices blackmail and that's why he always works with the same people?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe. I might not be the type, but maybe he is the type for all we know. Well then, Professor Harebrain, this is it. Today we're going to lay all of this to rest at last. I wish you the best of luck, Professor. I suppose he'll be in there today, will he? Drebber. Yes, we expect the prosecution to summon him as a witness. I'm still amazed that you managed to find him in just one day. I really owe you both so much.
Counsel and the defendant! The trial is about to resume! Can I make you into the courtroom at once?
This is it then, the final chapter. Funny, my heart's racing a little. I've not felt this before, actually. This strange foreboding, as if something's going to happen in this trial that I'm not ready for. But I can't let that distract me from the only thing that really matters, finding the truth. Sholmes always seems to get what he wants.
I gotcha.
Yeah, it just works out for him. Here we go! In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again. We resume the public hearing of Albert Harebrain, at here present who stands accused of murder. Are the counsels for the prosecution and defense ready to proceed?
Oh, there he is. The prosecution is ready, my lord.
The defense is ready, my lord. As promised, Lord Van Zeeks has his apprentice with him. His apprentice with memory loss. If I may, Lord Van Zeeks. Yes, my lord. There appears to be someone standing at your side. Ah, yes, my apprentice and assistant. The prosecution believes today's proceedings will see complexity of this case rise considerably.
He has a sword, too. I herefore instructed my assistant to attend to ensure the smooth running of the trial. I'd hate to ask this again, but is he allowed to have a sword in court? And the smooth running of liquid refreshments by the look of it. The way he holds himself, the way he moves, it couldn't be anyone else. But he's still suffering from amnesia, so there's really nothing we can do at the moment. I know, but... oh, this is so very hard. Almost certainly not. Well, it would appear the prosecution has done a fine job in responding to the demands of the court made yesterday. I understand you have successfully secured the engineer who disappeared from the scene on the day in question. Yes, my lord. I intend to call him as a witness shortly. Very good, very good. Now then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, who have been chosen at random to represent the will of the people in the courtroom today, are ready and willing to proceed? Of course, my lord. I'm sure we all understand the importance of doing our civic duty. I do so despise deception and deceit. I find it so very wearing. To take a man's life with a conjuring trick, it is against the magician's code, not to mention the law. Any fake scientist should feel the wrath of God, if you ask me. We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence, and, then settle on one. That's it, isn't it? Wasn't like this in my day. Wasn't like this at all. If all parties are ready to proceed, you may begin, Lord Van Zieks. Before I do, my lord, there is a report I must read to the court. Yesterday, at the Great Exhibition Grounds, the evidence of primary importance in this case, the super-high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine, which was installed on the experimentation stage. Is this the first time the prosecution's had a helper, by the way? Far too young to be a juror, good lord. Who, the, girl chomping corn? Maybe she's a tiny lady. A tiny middle-aged lady, for all we know. Was deliberately destroyed in an explosion affected by an unknown person or persons. It was... what? An explosion? This is an outrage. Yes, I heard this grave news yesterday. Scotland Yard submitted a report to my office in the evening. I read that the machine was blasted to smithereens and the wreckage reduced to ashes in the flames. I have here a photographic print of the scene taken in the wake of the explosion. Oh boy. It shows what little remains of the machine. Yes, a terrible business. The prosecution and the edgy games have helpers? Yeah, but those were the edgy games, though. We weren't actually, like, in court. So... oh, my water's gone. He did it to destroy the evidence, did he? Would he be in trouble, by the way, if he did that? Blew up evidence and just blowing up something in general? That's Enoch Drebber. The court will take this print as evidence, counsel. Yes, definitely in trouble for that. Late yesterday afternoon, prosecution afforded to the machine by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act was revoked. However, before a thorough investigation could begin, the invention was obliterated from existence. As such, this will become a very different trial. As it stands now, with no evidence on which to draw meaningful conclusions, the authenticity of the kinesis machine will remain forever in obscurity. Indeed, a most unfortunate state of affairs. However, one thing remains clear. The victim's death was the result of the actions of the accused. Of that we can be certain, for it was the accused himself who was operating the machine and who ultimately caused his loss of control. As Lord Van Zieks rightly says, this is a very different trial now. Accused accepts responsibility for his part in the events that transpired. He acknowledges that Mr. Asman died as a result of the accident caused by the machine's malfunction. However, unbeknownst to the professor, he was being deliberately deceived by a pair of very clever fraudsters. Names, counsels, if you please. The engineer, Mr. Enoch Drebber, and the victim himself, Mr. Odie Yasmin. So what exactly were these two men up to behind the defendant's back? The defense intends to expose that information, thus establishing the unequivocal innocence of the defendant. Thank you, counsels. The positions of the prosecution and defense have been clearly stated. Lord Van Zeek, summon your first witness, please. At once, my lord. The prosecution calls the engineer, Miss Enoch Drebber, to the stand. Oh boy. State your name and occupation for the court. Name, Enoch Drebber. Occupation, hard to pin down, I would say. See that black monocle? Monocle? Yes, why do I feel as though I've seen it somewhere before? Oh, you too? I had exactly the same feeling myself. Your file indicates that you are currently being investigated in connection with another case. The theft of a waxwork model, is it? A most extraordinary sounding business. But that has no bearing on this trial, I assure you. Cleave it from your mind. You're familiar with the public experiment carried out at the Great Exhibition some days ago? The accused super high voltage instantaneous kinesis demonstration. Yes, you could say that. I am aware of it. There was a terrible accident, wasn't there? It was you, Mr. Drebber, who constructed the vast machine used in the experiment. Or so our investigations indicate. Can you confirm your involvement? Yes, I constructed it in precise accordance with the blueprints, but that's all. Then the court would be very interested to hear your thoughts about the machine, I'm sure. An amazing device, if you ask me. The pinnacle of modern science, making instantaneous kinesis a reality at last. What? Good gracious! Do you mean to say that the experiment was bona fide? Is that your belief, sir? Yes, that is very much my belief. Such a waste that it blew up. But we've already established the machine was nothing more than a prop for an elaborate conjuring trick.
Objection!
You've established nothing of the sort. All that was shown during yesterday's proceedings is that the same outcome could have been produced by means of staged trickery. The defense merely proposed a method and demonstrated its feasibility, nothing more. But... You've procrastinated long enough, I feel. Witness, you will now give your formal testimony about the machine that you constructed for the purpose of the demonstration of the Great Exhibition. Understood. Will I get stuck on this one, guys, or will I figure it out? Probably the first thing. I met the young professor approximately 1 year ago through Mr. Asmund's introduction. He provided me with the blueprints and I constructed the machine to his precise specifications. It was no trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would have required a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and then crash headfirst into the crystal tower. A terrible accident, I grant you. Perhaps the science on which the machine was built was flawed somehow. A body double? That goes without saying, surely. To give the impression that something has moved when in reality it hasn't. It's a basic conjuring principle. The deception cannot be archived without substituting the original with a fake at some point in the performance. But would I be right in saying you haven't managed to establish anything along those lines? Ugh. Incidentally, the prosecution has already confirmed that Mr. Asmund had no twin siblings. It's my understanding that this witness is well versed in conjuring artificial something, but such talents do not indicate that he was actually able to accomplish what he claims, namely the construction of what, by all accounts, must have been an extremely complex scientific machine. Whatever do you mean? Yesterday's proceedings brought the true nature of your past exploits to light, Mr. Drebber. Indeed, it did, my lord. As a swindler who preyed on innocent scientists to elicit government grant money through conjuring know-how. Yes, it's true that I possess considerable knowledge of stage magic. But crucially, my scientific knowledge more than matches that of any academic in the field. You have a guess? What's your guess, Edgewolf? Let's hear it. Investigations of the witness's workshop attest to that claim, my lord. As evidence, the police found this Royal Society trophy for young talent in science there. Yes, that's true. We spotted it there ourselves. If a hypothesis is sound, it can always be forged into a physical manifestation with sufficient skill. Though I must have sold the secrets of some deceptive wiles to sniveling, talentless scientists in the past. Would you therefore assert that the explosion of the machine was an unfortunate accident, or, of course, a deliberate act of murder carried out by misuse of the science? The wax figure was the body double? I had a feeling too, to be honest. There's definitely a wax figure involved in this stuff. Counsel for the defense, your cross-examination, please. Yes, my lord. I can try to present, what would I present, though? Like the head, do you think? Because the head is the only, like, wax figure thing that I have here. Hold it! So you were already acquainted with Mr. Asman himself? Not really. By chance I'd seen his name mentioned in the papers, that's all. But I had no interest in his private affairs. If he was an unscrupulous investor, it was no concern of mine. As long as people pay their bills, I take up my tools and construct what they ask for. So why did Mr. Asman approach you in particular, then? What can say? I presume because my name is associated with excellence in engineering. Not to mention excellence in fraud. Hard to gauge, but the point is, all I did was construct a machine according to the blueprints I was given. In other words, the kinesis machine was built on solid scientific principles. Yes, you might say that. Professor Hairbrain certainly has a mind like no other. I'm gonna open my window real quick. It's getting hot in my room. Come on, cold wind, get in here. He provided me with the blueprints and I was Hold it! It's clear that you have both scientific knowledge and knowledge of conjuring magic, however. The more knowledge you have, the better equipped you are to handle whatever comes along. But your implication is that I furnished the machine with some trickery, I think. It's a possibility that we have to explore. Unfortunately, though, the machine has been blown to Kingdom Come. So there's really nothing left to explore, is there? It appears that the kinesis machine was fitted with a timed explosive device of some kind. And there's nothing left of that device either, not a single shred of evidence remaining, I hear. He must have planned all of this from the outset. But in any case, it's abundantly clear that the experiment couldn't have been a trick. If the whole show was a fraud, it would require a body double. Tell me, did the victim have a twin? Hold it! Of course, that's it. Mr. Asman was a twin. Objection! Your cat is here. Hey, Stars' cat. How are you doing? Hope you're meowing well today and all that. Perhaps my learned friend wasn't listening earlier. Mr. Asman had no twin siblings. No, I heard you before. But the thread of hope hadn't quite left me. The demonstration could have been a trick if there was somebody who looked sufficiently like the victim. But Dr. Scythe had absolutely ruled out that possibility. She says purr purr purr. Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. When I hear purring, I feel happies. All the happies. It is beyond question that the victim himself, Mr. Asman, did move from the stage to the Crystal Tower. The fingerprints found at the scene attest to the fact. So it can't have been orchestrated using someone who looks identical to Mr. Asman, then. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? Oh, no, nothing. Just that the idea of someone who looks identical to the victim is playing on my mind. All the spectators saw the birdcage appear above their heads and the crash headfirst into the Crystal Tower. Is it here, guys? Is the answer here? Wax head? Wax?
Objection!
Okay. Alright, well, that was my one guess. Let's press the other two.
Hold it!
Very happy. I'm glad she is. Hope she's enjoying the stream as well. It crashed head first, you say? According to the many witness reports from those there at the time, yes. Were you not there at the exhibition grounds on the day? Unlikely. I rarely leave my workshop. Yet another of your unique inventions was found at the scene.
She always does. Have you investigated all your evidence?
I should have. I should definitely have. Should I be investigating the helmet again, Captain Chips? Well, it was the unveiling of a machine I'd labored over for many months. I saw it clearly with my own eyes, the birdcage plummeting headfirst into the tower.
Yeah, as long as your phone is not in the way.
Awesome. What a surprise. I believe the victim's neck was broken from the headlong fall, wasn't it?
How would you have come by that information? That the helmet's something related to the machine.
Which machine? The exploded one? Even an infernal recluse like me reads the newspapers, you know. According to the reports, 2 injuries were apparent on the victim's body. Yes, he'd been stabbed in the chest by a screwdriver believed to belong to the defendant, and he had broken vertebrae as a result of a fall from a considerable height. Correct, my learned friend has been doing his research, it seems. Do we know which injury was the fatal one? Sadly not. Forensic science is not at the level of where such things can be determined. What we do know is that the victim died having sustained both injuries at some point during the experiment, since he was found in the birdcage with his neck broken. It's obvious that he fell from a considerable height. I suppose that's hard to deny. Since you said I have to present evidence, I assume I don't need to press anything more, right? So my question to you is, which statement do I present the evidence to? Because I have no idea. 4? See, I would have guessed 3 for sure. Is the answer on the first page? The second page? Or is it this one? So first page with these things. Second page with all these things. Or that.
Second page?
Alrighty, thank you. Autopsy report. Machine. Is it this? The left.
Objection!
Alright, good. Good. We've examined the birdcage that crashed into the Crystal Tower ourselves. Why is it this, by the way? No idea. As you can see, the cage, which is a wooden construction, has sustained damage in one particular spot. Following the explosion, it fell some 30 feet into the glass of the Crystal Tower. The level of damage is to be expected, surely. I agree. The damage itself is entirely understandable. What doesn't make sense is the location of that damage. All the breakages in the wood are at the base of the birdcage, not the top. What are you saying? That's the opposite of where they should be. That's right, my lord. The birdcage that was at the scene is damaged at its base. So we have reports of the birdcage falling headlong into the crystal tower, yet the damage is at the bottom. The only way to reconcile these two facts is to accept that there were two birdcages in play that day, which were at some point switched. Switched during what wasn't a scientific experiment at all, but an elaborate piece of stage trickery. Good gracious, explain yourself, witness. Well, if we examine the facts, there's only one logical conclusion we can draw. The damage on the base of the birdcage clearly indicates that it crashed tail first into the tower.
Objection.
But multiple witnesses' reports claim it fell head first. The birdcage materialized in the sky next to a balloon, flying over the stage following a spontaneous explosion, at an altitude of some 60 feet above ground level, which is approximately 18 meters. It then proceeded to fall some 30 feet into the crystal tower in the ensuing deflagration. Witness reports amid such chaos are notoriously unreliable.
Objection.
Hey, Blue Thunder! Welcome back to the stream. How you doing today? Welcome back to the Ace Attorneys of the Greatses. But the victim's neck was broken.
Objection.
He plummeted 30 feet inside a heavy wooden cage. However he fell, it would be unsurprising to find one or two of his vertebrae crushed. A riveting scientific analysis of events from the prosecution there, though to be even more rigorous, you would have to say it was only one vertebrae, actually. He wasn't quiet for long. I find it hard to see what's motivating Lord Van Zeeks. This witness is clearly a swindler, and the one who deceived a personal friend of his. If you're going to establish this deception, do it right. I'm doing good, Blue Thunder. All is good today. Peaceful and nice and good and stuff. Sorry? I feel like that's the undertone here. Yes, and there's one more point. The defense appears to have forgotten. It obviously wasn't a trick, as a certain truth was very plainly demonstrates. What? It seems to me that the cross-examination had better continue until we resolve this matter. Mr. Drebber, you will amend your testimony with details of this truth. Of course, we must treat this matter scientifically, after all. I nearly had him there. The kinesis clearly took place because there's nowhere else 30 feet high for the birdcage to have fallen from. Do I do evidence here, guys? Or do I press again? Let's save. If I do need to press evidence, which page is it on? We'll keep on doing this, guys, until the game is beaten. Presentation, statement 4 still. Yes, this one. And, which page is the evidence on? I don't even know what the game is asking me anymore, to be honest. I truly don't. This is the part where, like, too much information, you always press first. True. But I think the game is saying, like, yeah, I have to present something here, because there's, like, no more information. Captain Chips, if you read that right, it should be the first page on the left. Well, let me ask if it's, like, the left or the right side first, and then we'll get it from there. But yes, thank you. Did I save it? So, one of these 3, right? Maybe diagram sketch?
Objection!
Yep. This is a diagram of the experimentation stage and its surroundings. We know that somehow the birdcage appeared in mid-air before falling down into the crystal tower. A fall of about 30 feet, or 9 meters. However, if you examine the diagram carefully, you'll see that there is one other possible location from which the birdcage could have fallen. The same distance of 30 feet. No. Well, it appears the defense has a possible explanation to put forward.
Go ahead, Counsel. Let me think. One broken bone is suspicious. Depending on the fall, the victim could have been far more damaging.
One broken boneses? What about all the broken boneses? Yes, my lord, of course. Will indicate the place to which you are referring on the same diagram. The alternate location from which the birdcage could have possibly fallen for the requisite 30 feet. Question, guys. Where was the one balloon? The fake balloon? Was it this one? Was it this balloon?
Take that!
If it had fallen from here, the birdcage would have plummeted to the same 30-foot distance. If that's my learned friend's claim, I suggest he demonstrates for the court, personally.
Nope. Yeah, guys, I'm gonna need some help on this one, too.
Broken bones is bad for health. It is. My gosh. Yeah, where? Where is it?
I'm not sure I get this one.
It's okay, you don't have to get it. Just give me like a clue where it is, and we'll see if the game can tell us, if it makes sense.
No idea, guys. No idea. Let me look up another guide.
Oh no. Your guy doesn't show like the picture?
Think of where either the birdcage has been.
I have no idea where the birdcage has been. My memories is gone when it comes to most of the facts of this game. Absolutely 100% gone.
Can you give me a clue, Astro Dude? For now, it's below the machine, if that makes sense.
So here then?
Take that!
Fallen from? Yeah,
Objection!
Nope, that doesn't work.
Yeah, I don't get it, Astro Dude. I'm sorry.
I am not a smart person.
Well, I did below.
It's not below.
The top of the stage?
So here then? Or here?
Take that!
The place I'm referring to is here. But that's where the birdcage would have been to begin with. Which is exactly the point, my lord. Yes, the birdcage was in the machine on the stage. But what we must also consider is the height of the stage itself. Go on, Counsel. It turns out that the experimentation stage was built on a considerable height above ground level. If you look at the diagram, in fact, you'll see it's at about the same height above the ground as the balloon was above the crash site. I don't know how tall 30 feet is. I failed that course in school. I know nothing about feet and inches and all that garbage.
The strategy wiki describes things well in great details, but no pictures. The Neoseeker guide is good for that.
Yeah, I would use Neoseeker. The Grand Neoseeker guide. When the experiment got underway, the machine and the birdcage were engulfed in steam.
Bang.
At that moment, the floor of the stage gave way, and if we assume there to be a void underneath, this birdcage and the one seen by the audience would have fallen almost the exact same distance.
There's no scale on that picture either. No scale?
What do you mean, no scale? Do you mean... I don't know what that means, no scale. There hasn't been a scale this entire court case, I don't think. Once again, my lord, this all points to the fact that there was not one birdcage, but two.
Objection!
My learned friend has no evidence that the stage had such a contrivance in its design. Someone is responsible for the criminal destruction of the Kinesis machine itself, it's true. However, the stage still stands, and take a moment to look at the photographic print of the scene following yesterday's explosion.
There's no scale, nothing that tells you how to interpret distance.
Yeah, that's a whole topic that I skipped in school. I don't know what scales have to do with feet and inches and stuff. Scales are for weight normally, right?
Markings of feet yards, like a yardstick or something.
Like a yardstick or something.
1 SM on map, 1 meter in reality.
Yeah, I don't know what SM or meter. I don't know how tall all that stuff is. Like I said, I did not do well in those classes. I glossed over them. I never cared about them. I didn't get it. Still don't to this day. Good lord, the metal grill that formed the floor of the machine is undone. Yes, most likely blown open by the force of the explosion that destroyed the rest of the machine. The defense calls for the space below the stage to be investigated immediately.
It's a little set of markings that will show how big something should be on a map or in blueprints.
Yeah, that would be like a measuring stick, not a scale. A measuring thing. Mr. Drebber. It was you who built the Kinesis machine, which means that it was you who built the 2 bird cages that were used to carry out this deception.
It's called a scale on maps. Oh,
I don't read maps. I don't know nothing about that. All of my life scales have been used for weight stuff. Whether Professor Harebrain's hypothesis is sound or not makes no difference, because it's the construction of this machine that matters, a machine designed to take Mr. Asman's life. And lay the blame firmly at the professor's door, something that could only have been carried out by you, Mr. Enoch Drebber. Grrr. Wag! He's gonna turn into some crazy droid creature. If my learned friend has reached the end of his wild assertions. Sword! Yep, that guy has a sword. The prosecution would like to crush the defendant's arguments slowly but surely. What? Your argument fails to hold water on 2 counts. 2? Firstly, before and after the experiment, this witness went nowhere near the Kinesis machine. Every relevant member of staff in the exhibition has attested to that, and I believe members of Scotland Yard has also been on watch duty at every public experiment. In other words, Mr. Drebber had no opportunity to switch the alleged pair of bird cages.
Don't think it's safe but neat.
It's fine. Swords are allowed. Swords and glasses and bombs and just everything's allowed in court. But I've already explained why he wouldn't have needed to. The nonsense with the crossbow, that doesn't bolster your case at all. The man who disappeared from the stage and the man who crashed into the tower are one and the same. The forensics investigation team's report is unequivocal on that point. Ag! And the second flaw in your assertion is a distinct lack of motive. Why would this man have wanted to take the victim's life? He had no reason to do so. A motive? Do I have to think of everything myself? I have here a contract provided by the witness. What contract is this, Lord Van Zix? The contract into which Mr. Drebber entered with the victim, Mr. Asman. It reads, Mr. Drebber is to receive 30% of all remunerations from the government grants or other income. 30%? Certainly very favorable contractual conditions. But there was one very important provision bolted onto that clause. What provision? Mr. Drebber may only uphold this right on condition that both contracting parties are alive. In other words, if either of us were to die, the contract would become null and void. So you see, I had nothing to gain from Mr. Asman's death, the diametric opposite, in fact. Ugh. What clause do we call that one, guys? The middle finger clause. Wasn't that the name of the third Santa Claus movie, by the way? Need I say more? The witness had neither an opportunity nor a reason to commit the alleged crime. In short, the possibility of Mr. Drebber having done as you suggested, is nil. Ugh. Wah! It seems the defense's assertion was somewhat wide of the mark. Lord Van Zeeks, you will submit the contract as evidence, please.
It's the anti-murder clause in this contract.
The anti-murder.
Both parties are alive. Do those look right, guys? Those names? 30%. Contract. Cool. It's true. If Drebber had no opportunity to switch the birdcage under the stage with the one in the Crystal Tower, he couldn't have done it. And in any case, I have no idea what his motive might have been. There is one aspect of your argument that still holds true, however. There were two birdcages. The prosecution is unable to deny that. Ah! So I'm sure you're on the right lines, Mr. Naruhodo. And I've no doubt there are other aspects of your assertion that are undeniable truths too. Well, it would seem that the defense has no rejoinder to offer. The Santa Claus 3, The Escape Clause.
Oh yeah. What a fantastic movie that was, right guys? Got. Well, I must say I'm a little surprised. I came here to testify about the machine I built, and instead my reputation is defiled. But the prosecution's counter has set the record straight, I think. It's impossible that I'm the culprit.
That movie's 20 years old next year, by the way.
Oh my gosh, I hate time, guys.
Objection!
I hate time. At the beginning of this trial, we believed that there was only one birdcage. Yet now we know there must have been two. In other words, there were more to the demonstration than we realized at first. I think it's abundantly clear that the same applies to the culprit. Get to the point. The stage demonstration was constructed and set up in its entirety by you, Mr. Drebber. Therefore, it's inconceivable that you had no hand in the events that transpired.
The worst Santa Claus movie and one of many missteps in Tim Allen's career.
Poor guy.
The first one is 30 years old.
As of like this year.
Oh my gosh, guys. I hate time.
So if circumstances mean it's impossible that you could have carried out the crime yourself, it points to the fact that someone else was involved.
Someone else? Counsel, are you suggesting?
Yes, my lord. Mr. Drebber had an accomplice.
Objection!
1994, oh, last year. Oh my gosh. Oh, everything's old, guys. Why is Ryu now only wearing one glove by the wayside because it's bothering you?
I don't know. I don't know why he's wearing this outfit. It's very, very strange. An accomplice now? Well, then I presume you're prepared for what's to come. Now that you're accusing not only this witness, but someone else of the most serious of crimes. If these accusations turn out to be false, make no mistake. The prosecution will demand an equally serious punishment for your slander. Well, counsel, do you intend to pursue this course and formally accuse another party of involvement in this matter? What do I do here? At any moment, this is a little more than a hunch on my part. I don't know for sure if Drebber has an accomplice or even if he really is the culprit here.
Poor Zakes must be jealous.
So jelly. One way or another, though, I have to make my position clear as a lawyer. So what's my stance going to be? Did Drebber have an accomplice or not? What do I do here, guys? This is one where I just need to know what the answer is. Can you give me a guess? Not this one.
The one's not immediately obvious unless you consider who's been introduced in this chapter.
Who's been introduced? You, Iris, Herlock, Mel, Odie Asman, him, Barak, Massman Bro, Gina, you, Balloon Guy, Little Boy, Courtney, Enoch. Is it her?
General rule of Ace Attorney, never back down.
All in, no idea. All in. The defense is ready to name Dr. Drebber's accomplice. Somehow the two bird cages must have been switched. Everything points to that. Yet according to the coroner's report, that's not a possibility. But that inconsistency itself is a clue. Counsel? My lord? You have received a stark warning already. If you are nevertheless determined, then I must now ask you to identify this alleged accomplice by name.
There are places where you have to admit you don't have any evidence, though.
Yeah, there are areas of some other Ace Attorneys. Who do you believe is the accomplice? My guess is obviously the little bohemian boy. I mean, look at him. He is obviously evil. My guess is her, I guess, because they look alike. That's all I'm basing it on.
Take that!
The name of the person in question is... What's wrong, my Nipponese friend? Alright, guys.
First page or second?
Is it on this page or this page?
I apparently have no idea. Most of the time you press on.
Yeah. No idea. I'm not in the foggiest. Second? Is it on the left or the right? It can't be himself. It's not her, obviously. I'm pretty sure it's not the little bohemian boy. I doubt it's the balloon guy. Is it her for some reason?
Take that!
Who is this person?
Right?
I think you meant left there.
I think you meant on the left. I suspect you might have missed a step.
Who is this person? Someone intimately related to the crime, my lord, and someone you surely wouldn't say you don't know. Yes, thank you. I am aware of the person, obviously, but on what basis do you claim felonious involvement? Okay.
You were right, then backed out? Huh?
It can't be him.
Take that!
Nope. Yeah, whoops. I have no idea.
I backed out of... It is Courtney Scythe, you had it right.
Well, why did the game say things like, no, it's not her?
Take that!
What's wrong, my Nipponese friend? Surely fear doesn't bind your tongue now. It's a little late for that. Of course I'm afraid. After all, naming her in this capacity is definitely going to make waves. A lot of waves.
What is left or right? What's the difference?
What is it?
What is the middle?
We'll never know. I could very well turn every single person in this courtroom against me. I'm sure it will be alright, Mr. Naruhodo. Thank you, Miss Susato. The enemy always appears larger than life, but you'll appear exactly the same to the enemy. Alright then, here goes. You've kept us waiting long enough. Your answer, Counsel. Yeah, it looked like he was going to say, it's not this guy. Pshh.
She's a Scotland Yard coroner. They're saying it can't be her because she works with the cops, but it is her. This is the way.
This is the way? The person who colluded with Mr. Drebber in order to carry out this wicked crime is Scotland Yard's coroner, Dr. Courtney Scythe.
What in blazes are you talking about? Dr. Scythe?
The head of the forensics investigation team, and the coroner who's conducted the autopsy on the victim? Bang. We know there were 2 bird cages, so who could have carried out the switch to complete the illusion? The accident happened in front of the huge crowd of spectators, and the area was immediately sealed off. Then everyone, police officers included, were banished to make way for the forensics investigation team. When else could the switch have occurred? It could only have been in that team's presence. It's essential that the court determines exactly what happened following the incident. The defense demands that Dr. Scythe be summoned to the witness stand once to testify.
Don't worry, what's the worst that could happen?
He'd die. It's not too bad. You got nerve, lad. Standing up there, dragging the yard's name through the mud. I didn't mean to. I know the woman very well. There's no better dead room worker out there. How dare you call her a criminal? My learned friend's imagination appears to be wilder than the East End at night. But the recklessness of your accusation aside, there's another great problem with your argument. One which the prosecution demands you address at once. A grave problem? Oh my word! Who do you claim acted as the victim's doppelganger? What? Certainly if the birdcage contained the body of the victim was exchanged for another, that cage must also have contained a body. And yet, no missing persons or accidental deaths of anyone can remotely resemble the victim have been reported. Which means there was no one, dead or alive, who could have fulfilled the role of a body double for Mr. Asman. That's true. My argument is that there were 2 bird cages, then there must have been 1 person inside each. I don't know if I've got an answer to this yet, have I? What can I do to reveal how this body double stunt was achieved? Yeah, what's the right answer here, guys? I'm pretty sure it's a wax dummy, but, how would I prove that? Do I have the evidence already? So what's, what do I do here, guys? Head? The head. Very well. The defense will address my learned friend's concern by presenting evidence that reveals the true nature of Mr. Asman's body double.
Go with your thoughts there.
No thoughts. My thoughts are what with Astro Dude, who just said what it was. Good gracious, evidence? I do hope this isn't filibustering counsel. This court is expecting a name. If you think you have relevant evidence, present it now. The body double and the birdcage were hiding inside the balloon that was floating above the stage.
You had thought so earlier.
I wasn't thinking if that was, enough evidence, though.
Like I would need,
the full body to prove it. But yeah, which means that any witnesses would only have seen them from 60 feet away. So who was it that appeared out of that explosion some 8 meters above the spectators? Aha! A body double inside the second birdcage was... the head.
Take that!
We know that the victim, Mr. Asman, was in the birdcage that was situated inside the kinesis machine on stage, and therefore he couldn't have been inside the second birdcage. Instead, that contained something else, what's been described as a body double, which is what fell from the sky and crashed into the crystal tower. Yes, counsel, according to your somewhat elaborate version of events. And that body double inside the second birdcage was in fact... It's alright, Mr. Naruhodo. You're ready for this. Just steel yourself and come out with it. Thank you, Mr. Sato. I needed that. As I was saying, the body double inside the second birdcage was, then as unbelievable as it may seem, that thing there.
Where did that thing come from?
Where did that thing come from?
Objection!
Open your eyes and look into mine, my Nipponese friend. Now tell me, what are you playing at? Stand firm now, Ryunosuke. This is the time to show your Japanese spirit. As the court will observe, this is a waxwork model. A model, in fact, of an infamous London murderer from 10 years ago, the Professor.
Objection!
Started by indicating the leader of the forensics investigation team as an accomplice in this crime. And now you move on to indicating waxworks? Yes, that is about the size of it. But why? And why this waxwork? It looks nothing like the victim. In fact, it could hardly resemble him less. What possible justification can you give? If you want to know why, ask Mr. Drebber. What? Just days before Professor Harebrain performed his public demonstration, Mr. Drebber abducted this model from Madame Tuspel's. Did you say abducted? Indicting? What did I say? Whoops. After 2 days after the incident at the Great Exhibition, he returned it to the museum. Then the timing. Is this true, Mr. Drebber? At first I couldn't see why Mr. Drebber would have stolen the waxwork and then given it back again. But now the reason is clear. He took it so that he could put it inside the second birdcage as a body double for Mr. Asman. Gah.
Objection!
Are you hearing this, ladies and gentlemen of the jury? Are you hearing the defense's astonishing proposal? That the witness fabricated this vast machine with the intention of deceiving some wretched scientists? That he did so in collusion with the country's finest coroner on a public stage in front of the vast audience? And that, to effect the deception, he used a waxwork model that in no way resembles the victim. Are we really to believe this far-fetched tale? What do you decide?
Objection!
Wait, yes, if you put it like that, of course it sounds implausible. My lord! I need to speak, if you please. Go ahead, Mr. Foreman. Myself and my colleagues have reached an agreement. Innocent, right? Very good. In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will state your leanings for the court to hear now. You're gonna say innocent because I'm right.
Guilty!
Crap.
Guilty.
Guilty! Guilty!
Guilty!
Kill me!
Welp. Time for the thing again, guys. So as indicated by the foreman, the jury has reached a consensus. I knew that was going to happen. We shall get through this, Mr. Naruhodo, as we always do. And uncover some new truths along the way, I'm quite sure. Yes, I agree. I'm going to have to appeal to the jurors as usual and see if I can persuade them to change their minds. The defense will now embark on a summation examination. Are you and your fellows ready to proceed, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very well. In that case, I ask you now to clearly state for all present to hear the grounds on which each of you has decided that the defendant is guilty of the crime which he is charged. Alright, here we go. I also want to hear what their stories are. I've known that woman for years. She'll never be an accomplice to anything. It's utter nonsense to think that those two would ever be conniving with one another. Oh dear, this is most troubling. But surely the waxwork the man stole has nothing to do with the coroner, is it? I have my own problems with the members of the police. I do not trust them much. I've seen no rigorous proof that this waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's conjecture.
Accusing someone without right evidence he's not a proper job, is he? I won't have it!
Somewhat unsurprisingly. It seems the introduction of this waxwork model to the proceedings has polarized opinion. Given that its fact is obscured and its face is obscured and its build is in no way resembles that of the victim, I can only applaud my learned friend's temerity at suggesting it as Mr. Esmond's body double. Yes, the applause is deafening, and yes, I know it seems extraordinary, but that's the point. That's why I have the strong feeling it's actually a greater clue than anyone yet realizes. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhodo? I can't explain why at the moment, but I feel as though there's a specific reason why it was used, why it had to be this model. Really? A reason why nothing else would do, you mean? Yes, and I'm convinced it's something far more significant than whether or not the model looked like the victim. Well, if that's the case, we must prevent the trial from ending prematurely at all costs. Yes, agreed. I have to find a way out of this. If you are ready, counsel, you may proceed with the summation examination. Yes, my lord. Maybe that statue's build can handle a fall better? I don't know. I've known that woman for years. She'd never be an accomplice to anything. Hold it! The order of things seem to have changed around here for some reason. I'm a copper, lad. It's a copper's discretion to bend the rules sometime when needs must. What's wrong with that? Yep, like a gun is allowed too, as you can see. Where do I start? I've been working at the yard for 40-odd years. That's even more than I thought. We've only had a metropolitan police serve in town for 70 years now, you know. Of course, times have changed. The public didn't trust coppers back when I started. It was rough. We had to fight crime, and we had to fight to win the public's trust as well. And when we did, forensic science was in its infancy too, even more than it is now, and she spearheaded the revolution. Dr. Scythe, you mean? That's right. About 10 years ago now it was, when I was still a youngish bobby on the beat. That's when she started making a name for herself as a top-class coroner. And now look at her, head of the forensic investigation team, and a woman no less. Well, you won't hear me complaining. It's what we all dreamt of back then, I tell ya. Could you tell me without holding that gun in the air? We were all out to uphold justice, lad. Full of them, we were. Full of them. That's coming across loud and clear.
The fact that there are legitimately people in real life, I actually think it's okay that policemen break the law that are hired and trained to uphold is disturbing.
That's how it goes. I mean, I don't want it to be how it goes, but that's stinks. It's utter nonsense to think those two would ever be conniving with one another. Hold it! But we're only just starting to understand this case. What are you reading there, sir? The man behind those murders on Solar Pond Street was caught in 2 days flat. That's real policing for you. That's really not relevant to this case, is it? You're wrong there. Because it was Dr. Scythe in charge of examining the bodies. It was evidence arising from her work that led to the arrest of the scoundrel responsible. Oh. That's right. Oh, that woman is at the forefront of this country's fight against crime. The idea that she's somehow involved in this murky business is a load of old tosh. I thought it was up to me to press the jurors, not the other way around. Oh dear, this is most troubling, but surely the waxwork of the man stole has nothing to do with the coroner, has it? Hold it! How would you assume that? Well, quite simply because that unsettling swindler had no relationship with the woman, does he? True. As it stands, we don't know any connection. Oh gosh, but it would be delightfully romantic if they were somehow to have a mutual interest in the waxwork. Romantic? A woman of society such as myself views everything in terms of relationships, you know? Well, you learn something new every day, even if you don't want to. One might wonder about a possible relationship between the defendant and this coroner woman. Or perhaps between the defendant and the handsome prosecutor just there. This woman may be more astute than I have been giving her credit for. If that's the woman's stance, then perhaps demonstrating some connection between the waxwork and Dr. Scythe would be enough. Yes, I agree. As soon as we have even a whiff of a connection, she'll be the first to know. I have had my own problems with members of the police. I do not trust them much.
Hold it!
What sort of problems? Let's just say we have run into each other on numerous occasions while I've been performing on the street. Right, I see. Obviously, artists such as myself cannot appear on stage as we work in close proximity to our audiences, so we perform our great magic in parks, on street corners, and the like. This kind of reminds me of Professor Hinkle, by the way. But the police use any excuse to make our lives difficult. Someone's not happy with that statement.
Excuse me!
Do you have something to say in response to that, Mr. Ottermole? Who are you calling a mass murderer? Ah, sorry, my mistake. I got confused because I heard you look like him.
I don't look like anything like the man. You want to be locked up, Sonny?
Thanks, Mr. Sholmes. Perhaps we could move on. I was really wondering if you had something you wanted to add in response to what juror number 3 just said. And clearly you do.
Back in my day, back in the good old days, it wasn't like this.
What was it like, sir?
We worked our fingers to the bone to earn the public's trust, we did. And by Jove, we earned it. People respected us back then.
Respected you?
No one would have called a coroner into question in them days. The coroner's report was the hallmark of an investigation done right, especially when Dr. Courtney Stevens put her name to it. She was the best of the best, and the apples of the forces
Hold on a minute. What are you talking about? Who's Courtney Stevens?
Ah, sorry. Got a bit carried away there.
Stevens is Dr. Scythe's maiden name. Her maiden name? So that was before she was married.
Of course, yes, silly me. It's Scythe now, isn't it?
Stevens. I'm sure I've seen that name somewhere recently.
Anyway, the point is, those were the great days of policing, not like now.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. But do you think you could change your statement to include that name?
Well, yes, I don't see why not. She was Courtney Stevens back when I knew her, of course, a legendary coroner even then.
Let me get to cross-examining everyone else, though.
I've seen no rigorous proof that this waxwork was ever inside the birdcage. It's conjecture. Hold it!
But you claim the whole instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a trick.
That I did, but there was more than one way to pull a rabbit out of a hat, isn't there?
Sorry?
I would grant you, given that this cage appeared from a mist and explosion, there had been no need to use a real person. But if a waxwork had been used, the culprit could at least have had the decency to make it look like the victim.
I'm not sure exactly how much criminals are governed by decency.
The point is, if you're going to make a claim about that waxwork being inside the birdcage, you gotta give us some evidence. Without that, it's just not science.
Suppose we should expect nothing less from a logical argument from a fellow of the Royal Society. But that perhaps means his mind could be changed if we manage to present suitable evidence. Evidence that the Professor Waxwork was inside that birdcage. Can I produce that or not? Before we do that, let's talk to the last person. I can state quite categorically, sir, that we have no such evidence at the present time.
That much was abundantly clear before that pricey proclamation, I assure you. And why you can count on the fact that I shan't be changing my leaning.
Oh dear, that proclamation was even bracier than yours, Mr. Naruhodo. If only we had some evidence, things might be different, though.
Accusing someone without right evidences, he's not a proper job, is he? I won't have it.
Hold it!
I've got to ask, why have you brought that corn into court with you?
Colonel Cobb? He's been growing back on the farm. Picked him off on me way into town. He's a proper nibbler, he is.
Yes, the nibbling seems to be taking quite a while. Maybe it could wait until after the trial.
Ooh, I don't like the sound of that. We need colonels at times like these. Whenever I got something big to decide, the colonels always point me in the right direction, see?
You're talking about your cob of corn?
Nibble, nibble, guilty, bobble. Nibble, nibble, not guilty, out. Nibble, nobble, guilty, bobble. Nibble, not guilty, out. Nibble, nobble, guilty, bobble. Nibble, not guilty, out.
Okay. Poor little girl.
Perhaps it's akin to fortune-telling with flower petals and people do back home? Professor Harebrain's fate is to be decided by a cob of corn. could you not at least wait until we've had more time to find the truth?
I am back here to get something to drink. How's the case going?
Slow. We're getting there.
She loves her corn just like
You do. Corn is quite good.
sometimes.
Isn't this strange, Star? Just all of this. Could you wait? Ooh, I don't know about that. Me tum's awfully full already. Amazing. I know it seems a little far-fetched to think that the waxwork model of the professor was in that birdcage, but on the other hand, it explains a lot. If there's really is a reason why that particular waxwork had to be used as Mr. Esmond's double, we must do everything we can to make the jurors understand it. The truth is, I'm sure that the key to this, but... I'm sure that's the key, but it's the most puzzling part of it, too. In that case, you should see what the additional information you can glean whilst trying to change the jurors' minds. You can read a book whilst eating a rice cracker, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm sure you can do this.
Right, yes.
Gambling, if you don't know the answer, gambling is the answer.
Okay, I'm assuming they have to pit Juror 6 against someone, right? Pit. We're conniving with one another. Nothing to do with the coroner.
Maybe this one?
Objection!
These two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious. 2 statements do you refer, counsel?
So, juror number 2. Oh gosh, me? Well, what can I do for you? I presume that you heard what juror number 6 said in his statement. It's brought to light the maiden name of the coroner, Dr. Scythe, which in turn has revealed a connection with wasn't apparent before. Well, naturally, as a woman of society, I find such connections and relationships irresistible.
You like corn both ways on the cob and in a can.
I do like, corn off the cob as well. Never liked it on, it was tough getting it off, always. But oh golly, I'm afraid I fail to see what you mean. Dr. Scythe's maiden name is Stevens, and though that name, the coroner is very definitely linked to the waxwork of the killer. The defense has evidence to prove it. My goodness, evidence, you say? How utterly enthralling.
Counsel, the court cannot overlook the last remark. Very much hope there is a substance to your claim.
Of course, my lord. I would ask the court to look at this. The evidence that clearly links Dr. Scythe to the mass murderer, the person. I gotta look up things, guys. Do I have anything that says, I better save.
What about corn over? Never from a can, I just say it. Saw it off myself if you want it off the cob. Yes.
True. Not in a can. Off the corn. Off the cob, rather. Page 2. Courtney.
Take that!
I have here a certain autopsy report from 10 years ago.
A 10-year-old autopsy report? What relevance does that have?
I just got a text from someone.
I've been summoned as a juror in real life. What?
No, that's not true, actually. That would be cool, though. It is, of course, from the autopsy of the person portrayed in the waxwork, the killer known as the Professor.
The professor's... But the man was a capital offender, so...
We'll be right back. Kittens need a snack.
Okay. That's right. This is the certification of death that was drawn up after the convict's execution. The identity of the killer was never made public, so the report gave few details. What's important is the name of the coroner who wrote it. Courtney Stevens.
Oh my, Courtney Stevens? That would be ironic.
Ironic. Strike a light.
It appears that the professor's autopsy was conducted by Dr. Scythe 10 years ago, and a few days ago Mr. Drebber very deliberately stole the waxwork from the professor from Madame Tuspel's. A waxwork that doesn't in fact resemble the victim, Mr. Esmond, at all. And do you suppose there's some unsavory relationship between those events? Absolutely, I'm sure of it. There's no doubt in my mind that the professor case, is at the heart of a link that we have yet to uncover between Dr. Courtney Scythe and Mr. Enoch Drebber. Hidden links, mysterious connections. secret relationships. This is almost extraordinary. Playing Ace Attorney and getting summoned for jury duty. Wouldn't that be exciting, though? That would be quite fun. We're surely obliged now to explore this further.
Quite right. We can't let this trial come to an end now. Not while there's this cloud of suspicion hanging over the yard's best coroner. It wasn't like this in my day, but we're still here to uphold justice in the end.
Beck, welcome back. You're just in time. Two votes for innocent. It's the professor that was linked the frightful swindler to the thing or whatever. Don't we need evidence? Whoops. Evidence for this one.
Hold it!
Waxworks was inside the bird cage. Can I produce that or not? Can I, guys? I mean, I would have to, otherwise I wouldn't know what else to do. I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Nope, nope, nope. We gotta load the game there. Yes, okay, it is. Is it the helmet? You found something in the waxwork? Oh, alright, I know what it is now. Actually, I have something I'd like you to see, sir.
Oh, I must warn you that I firmly believe it's only wise to trust men in white coats. So given your jet black outfit, I don't mind admitting to a sense of trepidation here.
His outfit is not black, though. You don't trust anyone in black? Looking in the mirror must be very trying. What a weird statement for that guy to say. I'm assuming it's this, right?
Take that! What's that? A piece of glass? Though it's unusually thick for glass.
Yes, it's a piece of broken glass that we found inside the jacket on the waxwork. As you say, it's not ordinary glass, though. It's very thick and clearly made for extra strength, much like the special glass that was developed for the construction of the Crystal Tower.
The Crystal Tower? Holy smokes!
Exactly. The centerpiece of the great exhibition, where the very incident we're talking about took place. On the day in question, the birdcage fell from above and smashed through the window of that special glass.
From whence this small piece originated. Is that it?
Precisely. So, what do you say? Now that the clear evidence in support of the assertion has been placed before you.
Well, as I said, I only trust men in white coats as a rule. However, when the reasoning is sound, it's fair to say color shouldn't come into it. In light of what you've shown me here, yes, I feel obliged to change my position on the matter.
And so, clothes racism ended, guys. There was definitely default outfit is black. Selecting this one doesn't affect dialogue. What do you mean selecting this one? I'm so confused. In that case, juror number 4, you will amend your statement now, please. Oh, we're not done.
The presence of that piece of glass leaves me in a little doubt that the waxwork was indeed inside the birdcage.
Alright. In the game options? Yeah, I know. I'm just messing.
Hold it!
Thank you for reconsidering your position, sir.
Your words are misplaced, boy. My opinion is governed by logic and science and nothing else. Yes, science is where you should direct your words of gratitude.
Ah!
What's the matter with you? Too good to say some words of thanks? Too good to say some words of thanks to the mother of all academic subjects?
What is it about scientists, honestly? Alright, I'm gonna save again. I'm assuming we have to pit this juror against someone, right? Question is who, though? Utter nonsense at these two. Police. Or this person.
Can someone remove one of these characters from my choices, guys? Cause, no idea. No idea who to pit this person against. You can remove one? Yeah, remove one, please. Which one do we toss? Then we can guess one of the other two. Oh, you remove one. That's a weird way to say it. Next time say, like, remove juror number 1. So, this guy or this guy? Girl. I'm gonna guess girl.
Objection!
Those two statements clearly contradict each other.
Good gracious. 2 statements you prefer, counsel?
You could put down your coin for a moment, juror number 5.
Oh, you mean me?
You've pointed out that it's wrong to make an accusation without evidence, but the accusation in the waxwork model was inside the second birdcage on the day in question. That was intentional, you apologize, because it was funny to say that way. Gotcha. Say it to someone without brain damage next time, though. On the day in question is not without supporting evidence, as the defense demonstrated to the juror sitting beside you.
Oh, is that right?
Would it be fair to say you didn't follow the argument?
I don't understand much besides Colonel Cobb, to be honest.
Of course you don't. If I could... It's funny specifically because you weren't going to get it immediately. Oh.
Okay, cool.
If I could interject here. Please do, sir. Now that this assertion of yours about the waxwork has been backed up by some solid evidence, it would be wrong of me as the man of science not to pursue the matter further. One more.
Well, me too then.
Sorry?
If the brave gentleman says he's right, then he must be. See? I wouldn't dream of going against Colonel Cobb or anyone who's got stuff in between his ears.
How old is this person? Why is she a jury member? Success, if you call it that. Thank you, counsel. That will do. As a result of the summation examination, the jury's overall leaning has changed. 2 jurors now call guilty, against 4 who call not guilty. Accordingly, the court has failed to reach a consensus at this time, and the trial must continue. We did it.
Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. Another wonderful victory. Yay! Woo!
Waxwork of the despicable professor uses a body double for the victim in this quite extraordinary case. I must say it's extremely hard to believe the assertion could possibly be true. However, it would appear that it does at least warrant further investigation. It's the waxwork of the professor that links Mr. Drebber and Dr. Scythe. And I'm convinced that there's a special significance to that link. I don't know what you're hoping to prove, lad. I really don't. The truth, sir, by using evidence and testimony. If that court is to delve deeper into the alleged involvement of the waxwork in this case, then the prosecution calls for the owner of the model to be summoned as a witness. The owner? Madame Tuspels. I really thought that Lord Van Zeeks would object to this whole line of inquiry. Very well, I concur. Make arrangements for Madame Tuspels to appear as a witness with immediate effect. Listen carefully, my learned friend. Oh, yes? You should know that you're on the brink of opening Pandora's box. Cool. I love it when I am on the brink of opening Pandora's box. This court shall now adjourn for 45 minutes. During that time, the prosecution will summon the new witness and prepare her for taking the stand. Madame Tuspels, yes. I shall see to it at once, my lord. To be continued. To be continued.
Little fun fact, by the way, guys. I looked at the lengths of each and every case of this game. Case 3 is actually the longest case in this game. For some reason. I feel like opening Pandora's box is the point of all these games. It is. It definitely is the point. And I love opening it up every single time. Ah, the knight errant himself. Oh, have you been watching from the gallery, Mr. Sholmes? I've been on edge of my seat the entire time. Courtroom trials are fascinating affairs, as a spectator at least. Getting crazy! I'm glad you've been enjoying yourself. I have to ask. What on earth is going on? It makes no sense. What's this professor business all about? Doesn't look like any professor I've ever met before. Who even is he? Ah, of course. You were in Germany already 10 years ago. Yes, the professor. Maybe not. The next case spans 4 and 5. The next case spans 4 and 5. That might be spoilers, Astro Dude. Maybe we would have not known that, or it would have been better if you had not said that. That's a little bit spoilerish, but yeah, cool. People like you are the reason we have plagues. Yes. I am the cause. When I discovered he was the one who had been abducted, a sense of foreboding stirred within me. But who knew the monster would come knocking at your door? My heartfelt sympathies. As it turns out, Lord Van Zeeks is even more intimately tied to this case than any of us realize, isn't he? Yes, how true. His great friend from university in the dock. And now a waxwork of the killer who took his esteemed brother's life makes an appearance too. I imagine even a shrewd Mr. Reaper failed to foresee that kick in the teeth. An extraordinary move on your part, my dear fellow, to throw that in front of the man. You make it sound deliberate. I can't help feeling that this professor case is really very puzzling. Oh yes, in which particular manner? Well, there's Mr. Drebber, Miss Dr. Scythe, and Lord Van Zeeks. It seems that everybody in the trial has a link to the case somehow. Yes. In fact, I alone am not a member of the set. Though that leaves me as an empty set, all alone with no intersection to any other. Excuse me. Who said this? Oh, her. Dr. Scythe! Ah, Courtney Scythe, niece Stevens. Good day to you. Hello, Sholmes. That was very shrewd of you. What in particular, pray? You requested the 10-year-old autopsy report from Gregson, didn't you? Why would you assume such a thing? Because Gregson told me. To think it's been 10 years. 10 years in the laboratory, wielding my scalpel. I smell of nothing but corpses and disinfectant. A policeman on the jury had a lot to say about you as it happens, Dr. Scythe. And I've accused you of being complicit in what happened. I'm hoping that you'll take the stand and tell the truth about what really happened. That certainly won't be possible. Lord Van Zeeks won't be summoning me as a witness. Lord Strongheart has forbidden it. Lord Strongheart? The Pandora's box you were warned about is the professor case, but please don't make the mistake of thinking you'll get any information out of me. But attempting to hide from the truth, that's cowardice. I've always fought crime in the way that I see fit. I have no regrets, none at all. And that's all I came here to say. So, good day to you.
Well,
she mentioned it too, this Pandora's box. Whatever does it all mean? There's really no cause for concern, I assure you. When the trial resumes, the meaning will become all too apparent, whether you'd like it to or not. Huh? Now then, I believe it's almost time. I must make my way back to the public gallery. The edge of my seat awaits. I think maybe you're enjoying yourself a little too much.
Ah, yes, one word of warning before I go. If, in the course of the trial this afternoon, you perceive even a shadow of doubt about the truth, don't let it out of your sight. Pursue it like a dog with a bone. To the bitter end, you understand. Do not falter, whatever may come to pass. Alright, I understand. Thank you. Good, I shall make myself scarce then. I purchased a bar of caramel earlier, so I shall be gnawing on that as you gnaw away at the truth. What did that warning from Mr. Sholmes really mean, I wonder? Especially a bit about whatever may come to pass. Don't worry about the truth, even if it kills you. It's time for the final chapter then. I'm determined to find the truth, no matter what. No matter what. What? I'm gonna make a guess, guys, and say I'll be finishing this case next time, and not this time. Oh my gosh, that's creepy. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsel for the defense and prosecution, are you ready and able to continue? The prosecution is ready, my lord. Yes, my lord. The defense is also ready. As the court is aware, the case under our scrutiny began with a damaging incident at the Great Exhibition. Yet we now find ourselves embroiled in the details of a convicted felon who was sent to the gallows a decade ago. This trial has certainly defied all expectation, as seemed to be the fate of all trials in which this Nipponese is involved, my lord. So then, let us begin our exploration of the defense's assertion that the waxwork was cardinally involved in this matter. Lord Van Zeeks? My lord. Are we still awaiting the arrival of Madame Tuspels? Not at all. She is in the antechamber as we speak and ready to be summoned. Very well, bring in the witness. At once, my lord. Bailiff, show Madame Tuspels to the stand. Things are about to become a lot more intense. If Drebber is responsible, as I'm sure he is, it means he must have had an accomplice in Dr. Scythe. And what connects the pair of them is the waxwork. Yes, the model of the professor. This is the key to the link between these otherwise unrelated individuals. It's a tenuous link, admittedly, but at present it's all we have to go on. Oh boy. State your name and occupation for the court, please. My name is Madame Esmeralda Tuspels. I am a waxwork artisan, and the proprietress of the Madame Tuspels Museum of Waxwork. You will have to pardon me for working as I testify. A new exhibit must open very soon. What's she working on, guys? Whose head is that? Oh, so he finally gets a statue, does he? Oh, it's, Sholmes. Now there are two of them in the world. Oh my, what expression is she carving onto that face? A number of days ago, a particular waxwork model was stolen from your museum. Can you confirm this? Oi, that is true. At first, we believed it had been kidnapped. A waxwork model? Kidnapped? Yes, my lord. There was a demand for ransom money left behind by the culprit. However, according to what I have just been told outside the courtroom, that was not the true reason. I understand it was utilized as a substitute for the body of a murder victim. At the present, that is no more than conjecture proposed by the defense. This is the victim in the case in question, Mr. Odie Yasman. But of course, I know him well. He is part of my odious personages exhibit. I detest to say what is evident, but Mr. Asman does not resemble the professor at all. Yes, but perhaps their faces are very similar. Are you suggesting that we should see now the demasked visage of the professor? I have here the key, but it is strictly forbidden to open the lock. This is absurd. Pardon? I don't know what face you've carved onto your fancy figure beneath that mask.
But clearly, it won't be that of the actual killer.
Indeed, the man's identity was never made public after all.
The trial took place in a closed court. The proceedings were strictly confidential. The condemned man was summarily executed. His identity remains a closely guarded national secret. There is no possible way that a repository of tawdry exhibits could get its hands on that information.
Quel dommage. It would seem you are unaware of the Tuspel's principles.
What principles?
The family Tuspels have always prided itself on sculpting its model à la perfection. Every detail, including the visage, its fashion with complete fidelity, et voilà, our principles. There is a well-known legend about the Tuspel's waxworks from the time of the French Revolution. A member of the Tuspel's family is said to have made a waxwork of the queen who was executed. Oi, that is true. It was a century ago now. I believe the queen's face was carved in the minutes following her death, actually at the guillotine site. You are correct. The model is on display still today in the House of Horrors. The Tuspels will stop at nothing to obtain a faithful replica of our subjects.
Dear me, a somewhat disturbing tenacity of purpose. It is the only way to obtain a truly lifelike representation of the subject.
And it has been my family's secret for generations.
Do you mean to say that beneath that mask?
Oi, the true visage of the killer is there.
This is ludicrous. It's out of the question.
The professor spread terror throughout Great Britain. As a result, the Madame Tuspel's special exhibit remains extremely popular even today. The killer, emerging from his own grave, it is a sight to behold. You should come.
I think, madam, it would be beneficial to hear your formal testimony on this matter. You will explain every detail of this macabre model and your personal involvement in its creation.
With pleasure. With pleasure. The special exhibit in the House of Horrors is based on a rumor that shocked society in London. An impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse in accordance with Tuspel's family principles. I enlist the aid of the gravedigger and created a mold for the head in the cemetery just before the interment. I hid myself until he gave me a signal. I was there for a very long time that night. As dawn approached, I was very worried that I could be discovered.
The gravedigger? The man sanctioned this?
Oi, I will do all that is necessary to achieve the true resemblance my family is celebrated for. Nobody else knew, only the gravedigger. What harm did it do?
So you truly saw it? The face of that monster?
Naturally, I was aware at the time that his identity was a secret, but Tuspels would not be Tuspels if we did not insist on absolute fidelity to our sculptures.
I don't believe this.
I myself have seen the special exhibit at your museum, madam. A truly blood-curdling scene in which the murderer is emerging from his own grave.
The scene it depicts was the subject of many rumors in London 10 years ago. I have here a newspaper from the time.
Oh boy.
The special exhibit was based upon the picture in this article. It was the most detailed account into what happened, as reported by the eyewitness who saw it.
Man rises from the grave. It's too absurd for words.
Let me guess, we better check it out. Charles Darwin to receive Copley Medal. The Great Stink. Was the ball mask to blame for the Great Blaze? Ball mask? Like Mask-de Mask? Mad Sheep Rampage. And rises from the grave.
Okay. The public enjoys absurdity, monsieur. That is why I have reproduced the scene as carefully as possible in my museum.
And it is a waxwork from the exhibit that was stolen some days before the incident at the Great Exhibition, wasn't it?
That is correct. The professor, you see, before you here.
Most puzzling. I want to know about the Mad Sheep Rampage. I know, me too. Did
think people have extraordinary neck strength?
Maybe. You never know, with some crazy things that go on in this game. Counsel for the defense proceed with the cross-examination. This waxwork links Dr. Drebber to Dr. Scythe. And there has to be some reason for that, which hasn't yet come to light. But I'll find it. I'll get to the bottom of what really happened. I'll prove that Dr. Scythe and Drebber were in on this crime together. Hats are just extra.
Extra hats. You're up late.
Hey, Foursquare. I am up late. How you doing today? Welcome to, the witch game, where I'm cross-examining a witch.
Hold it!
But what's up? And that rumor would be a 10-year-old tale now, but one that no Londoner would ever forget. Alright, I know just what you're talking about, I think.
Of course, it cannot be anything else. Yes, that story will never disappear. The tale of the condemned killer rising from the dead. That is the central attraction of my House of Horrors. The rumor was whispering all over the city, and it was like this.
The witch is sus. She's sus. Who knows if she's the one, though?
I don't think so. It was the Low Gate Cemetery behind the prison in the dead of night after the execution of the killer. The interred professor slid back the stone slab covering his tomb and emerged from his grave. A young man who witnessed this felt a scream welling up inside him, but an instant later, he heard an ear-splitting gunshot from over his shoulder. A bullet struck the emerging corpse, and he fell motionless once more. The scream finally found its way from the mouth of the young witness, who turned and ran for his life.
I have some good news for you, by the way, Foursquare. If you look very carefully right here, you can't see it that well, but, sword! There you go. The corpse climbed out of his own grave?
And then somebody shot him? Who was it?
Nobody knows, even today.
But remember, it was just a rumor, perhaps nothing more than a ghost story. The good people of London, they love stories like this. That is why it was in every newspaper across the capital.
But was it just a story?
I mean, this is exactly the scene that can be seen today at your museum, isn't it? Oi, the special exhibit was modeled on that very illustration. For a while afterwards, the contents of that article were reproduced in every newspaper imaginable. Madam, might I say something? Please go ahead, mademoiselle. When something is described as a rumor, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's entirely made up. I believe that often, rumors contain elements of the truth. I see that people from the East can be just as astute as the people of Europe. Can we be sure, for instance, that the professor's execution was successful? It is not possible for the dead to come back to life.
Sorry?
10 years ago, I was there in Low Gate Cemetery. After the criminal known as the Professor was killed by hanging, I took a wax impression of his visage from the corpse just before it was interred. So I can assure you, the man was dead.
I see. It would certainly appear that the condemned man suffered the intended fate.
We had a tornado today and it was not destructive.
That's good. No destructive tornadoes in your area, please, Foursquare. Or in anyone's area.
Did you see it at all, Foursquare?
See the tornado? An impression of the visage was taken directly from the corpse in accordance with Dustbill's family principles. Is that true of every waxwork in your museum, then? It is, assuming the subject is dead, of course. Live subjects have to cooperate in a similar way.
Just pics, it was over the airport.
Oh jeez, that would have been scary. Trying to take off in that.
I have letters from imprisoned criminals all the time, you know.
What sort of letters?
When my time comes, please make a waxwork of me. Come ka? No! My museum is famous, monsieur. To be made into a waxwork is an honor, and for some criminals, a symbol of status even.
Didn't even touch down, though it was thought about it, though.
Oh, I've thought about touching down. I'm glad it had other ideas. I'm glad it was busy. Because nothing says hardened criminal better than wax.
And it's thanks to one killer in particular that my museum has gained such popularity in London. I refer to the star of the special exhibit, of course, the Professor,
whose form you claim to have captured by taking an impression from the actual corpse.
There are no exceptions to this principles of Tuspells. I enlisted the aid of the gravedigger and created a mold for the head in the cemetery just before the interment.
Surely that's illegal,
isn't it?
It would seem the proprietress of this repository of novelties was blinded by monetary greed.
It has nothing to do with money. The man is part of London's criminal history. That is why I had to sculpt him, to record this history. It is the raison d'etre of the Tuspells Museum.
Hey, Kenny Lee. Are your messages being sent?
Oh, have they not been being sent, Kenny Lee? I can see him now.
Heyo!
What's up? Hope you're doing good. Then surely nobody but the members of the judiciary present knows the killer's true identity. You're doing good, me okay? That's good. That's happened before when messages just aren't sent in chat rooms. Stupid. Come on, Twitch. You okay? I'm okay. I think I'm okay.
I assure you, behind that mask is hidden the true face of the Professor.
Do you realize what you're saying? The Professor's identity is a national secret.
I understand, and now that the truth about the special exhibit has been revealed, it must perhaps close.
Of course it will, as will your entire museum if you don't tread very carefully, madam.
That could be another interesting chapter in the history of my family, I think, don't you?
So 10 years ago, on the night of the Professor's execution, you took a wax impression of the face from the corpse?
Oi, exactement.
It's happening in some streams, like for Hedge, was working, and then at one point it stopped working. Even was telling you hi there.
Oh, really? What the heck, Twitch? Come on. Get your shh together.
Hold it! You were there longer than you expected to be? I had some difficulties in capturing the subject's form correctly. As I removed the mask, the mouth of the cadaver fell open and I had some problems with the chin. Dare I ask? The man had been dead for a short while already. You see, his muscles were relaxing and consequently his chin would not align itself correctly. Oh dear, what a horrible thought. Under normal circumstances, I would have an assistant with me. However, that night I was alone, and as a consequence, I missed my preferred window of time.
What do you mean?
When I take the impression of the visage of a cadaver, I always wait until 3 hours after death.
Why 3 hours? Is that amount of time significant?
It is because of rigor mortis.
Wriggly mortis?
It's the name given to a phenomenon that occurs in recently dead bodies. As a rule, 3 hours post-death, the muscles in the body begin to stiffen. By approximately 10 hours post-death, the entire body is completely rigid and inflexible. And then from that point on, the muscles slowly start to revert to their relaxed state. The effect is often used to estimate the time of death when a body is discovered.
Well, that was an education, if a slightly scary one. So muscles are alive after, death, huh?
Or something like that. I think that's actually your internet connection.
Maybe. Who knows?
As the mademoiselle says, rigor mortis commences 3 hours after death and it starts within the jaw.
I see. So that's why you wait.
Before that time, the mouth falls open, and it is very difficult to do my work.
It's getting hard for me to do my work with all this talk of corpses.
The same issues when you had bad connection. Don't know why it's only in some
streams. It's significant. Always significant. The information about rigor mortis that you just shared with us, would you mind including it in your formal testimony? I believe it could be significant, you see. Of course, I do not mind at all. I can't help feeling that after this latest topic, the atmosphere in the courtroom has become extremely grave.
This is no time for jokes, Miss Susato. Madam, kindly amend your testimony as discussed.
Be in, sir.
With the grip strength, she needs to chisel that head with one hand.
Yeah, I bet.
I'm assuming that we need to present evidence here, right, guys? Do we need to keep pressing, or is it evidence time? I just don't want to waste too much time, like, pressing things that, like, don't matter.
Pages of death, all the mortis.
Mortis.
Have you pressed everything?
Not the new statement or the third thing.
Hold it!
So I guess we do have to. Rigor mortis being the phenomenon you described whereby the corpse becomes stiff after death? Oh. So I do need to do it. I think you said that it starts at the jaw about 3 hours post-death, is that right?
Oi, Sasatka. Of course, the exact duration depends a little on the season.
I didn't realize a waxwork artisan would be so well versed on the subject.
Press the win button.
I wish. The win button is autoplay. Or game plays for me. But I wouldn't get the achievement if I did that.
None. This is only elementary knowledge in the field of legal medicine.
Well, I had no idea about it, but maybe I won't admit to my ignorance about forensic science.
I could ask my father to give you a very simple primer if you like.
I think corpses should be your domain. I'm not good with them.
Oh dear, I'll do my very best.
Alright, I need the page that it's on, that the evidence is on. Like, I don't even know what we're trying to prove here. Like, that's how far lost I am in this case. Like, what are we trying to prove here? What's the point of this cross-examination? So is it in the first batch of items, second batch, or the third batch?
It's the third batch. It would help a lot.
We're trying second. So a autopsy report, maybe a autopsy report?
Objection!
Because it's mentioning bodies.
I have here an autopsy report that was filed 10 years ago now.
It confirms the death of the professor following his execution at the gallows.
And is that a problem?
I believe it is, because your testimony and a particular detail in the report completely contradict one another.
Koi?
Are you going to explain yourself, my Nipponese friend? According to her testimony, Madame Tuspels was creating her wax impressions just before dawn, and at that time rigor mortis had not yet set in. Am I correct so far, madam?
You are, yes. As I said, the stiffening of the jaw is the first sign of rigor mortis, 2 to 3 hours after death. But the man's chin was limp, so he cannot have been dead for a long time.
But on the other hand, if you look at Dr. Seitz's report, it quite clearly states the following. Death by hanging confirmed at midnight, 17th of June. No. If the professor indeed died at midnight that day, then by the time you were sculpting his face, rigor mortis would already have set in.
Oi! Yes, you are right. The chin, it would have been completely stiff.
In other words, this report is wrong.
Objection!
No coroner makes the mistakes when recording the time of death. The very idea is absurd. In that case, there's only one possible conclusion. The execution didn't actually take place at the stated time. Impossible! Order! Counsel, this is beyond folly. Not only do you indict the author of the report, Dr. Scythe, but you also implicate members of staff at Barclay Prison where the execution took place. By heck. Extraordinary. Not on my day.
Objection!
My learned friend appears to have overlooked one very crucial fact. What fact? The professor died that night, without question.
He did? Of course he did. I moved the man's limp jaw with my own hands. There was no...
Yes, the professor died that night, but what if he didn't die at the gallows? Didn't die at... Are you insane? What exactly are you suggesting did happen in that case? It's almost impossible to believe, but it would explain the link between Dr. Scythe, the professor, and the one other person of interest. I have evidence that will explain exactly what I'm suggesting that happened that night. Council, present the evidence at once. The evidence that allegedly explains what really happened the night of the professor's execution.
No idea, guys. Which set of items is the one this time? Or which section are we looking at this time? I think 3. So one of these 3. Alright, let's save here real quick. This one maybe? Article? What happened that night is written very plainly in this newspaper article. Want to know what happened? Well, too bad. Because looking at the time, it's good night time. Alright guys, thank you all for watching. Tomorrow, will be more Lunar. And next week we're gonna finish Case 3 at long last. So yep, thank you for stopping by. Thank you Captain Chips and Astro for the help. I'll see all of yous tomorrow for more insane, crazy games and my new leveled up peoples. Take care guys, love you all, bye bye.